we did good there. They fucked up the rest.
And the recording started with "they fucked up the rest." Perfection. I love it.
Now you guys know how the rest of our session's gonna go.
Yeah, and they fucked up the rest. Welcome to session 60.
Life story right there.
We're having our midlife crisis.
Yeah, let's pretend like we didn't talk for the last hour. So how's everyone?
The same as I was an hour ago.
Yeah, same.
ready to make things worse.
All right, I will hit it off. Recap.
All right. Starting at making things worse. No, so basically we started the session on the 5th of Harvest, early morning. There was a little bit of a discussion if it was actually the 5th of Harvest, but
only later.
That's later. Basically we left off after. Okay, now I gotta not be confused because there was some RP in the middle. We had 2 days of walking, in silence, mostly.
1 day of walking in silence, yeah.
1 day of walking in silence.
There you go. Already fucked up.
And the second day is the 5th of Harvest.
And the second day is the 5th of Harvest, but then we were like, okay, now we're setting up camp, and now things are happening. So.
Well, no, then you had the 8 hours of walking with Layla and talking
we started
to her.
early morning. Viera gathered plainsberries and gave the leaves to Layla. She gave them to Cassius because she didn't want to add them to her character sheet. Samira notices while we then kind of packed up camp and set off.
Yes.
Samira at some point noticed that Layla and Cassius appeared to be arguing
with hands raised. Yeah, I do remember that.
There was roughly 8 hours of travel, and then we began to set up camp again. And at this point was when the RP all began, and Cassius started to talk to Viera. So I'll let you pick up from there.
It's also, I just want to note, interesting that that was the moment that Samira saw, because she could have seen anything else in between and stuff happened. So I'm like, okay, interesting that's part. Anyway, so yeah, basically after setting up or during setting up camp, Cassius approaches Layla and basically tells her or asks her to go a little bit to the side to a creek, the creek, the most singular important creek in our lives. While Samira and Layla were sitting at the tent, and Layla was being particularly clumsy today. So she was very helpful for Cassius. Anyways, there was a brief conversation between there was a conversation between Viera and Cassius where it first started with Cassius starting about the warehouse, where he realized that she went in the door where the grandfather was and all the guards on his call, even though they were in the middle of a shitstorm and maybe should have left. And that's something that he actually didn't notice or just remembered incorrectly, and was like, okay, I fucked up. And then they had a conversation about that, but also mostly about how to approach the current situation or current tension between Viera and Samira, with Cassius also just reaffirming to Viera that she in fact was important to them, and that maybe that they haven't really shown it that much or that well. And also basically about Viera, it's told a little bit more, not told more about the pact with Samriel, but that was also approached. That yes, indeed, she was doing that mostly for Cassius, and because she barely has any interest in the artifacts herself. That's what I gathered from it. Then afterwards, Cassius and Viera went back to the camp, and then Layla and Viera had a talk. And I just noted down there was a conversation between Layla and Viera. So
the very important part in between that was Nimrod returned with rabbits, and Viera skinned them and cooked them, and everybody sat and ate. And
That's
then
the most important part of the entire RPS.
Exactly, yeah. That's everything hinges upon these rabbits.
Okay, all right.
And then Cassius led Samira away to a creek, but the RP was paused because Layla just talked to Vieira,
Mhm.
and then obviously told Vieira a bunch of stuff.
Wow.
Carry on. Well, I'm not doing the recap. Carry
Yeah,
on.
there was a bunch of stuff, but I was there for the conversation, but
Yeah.
so I didn't make any notes about it.
She shared a lot of intimate stuff about her past with Vieira, including the one time that she did things for 10 gold pieces, which kept her fed,
Mhm.
and is trying to go along the lines of we're having similar experiences. Vieira assured her that the arrangement, or any arrangement that was made, was nothing to regret, and ultimately we have the artifacts now, so the end goal is kind of underway. She also pointed out that the artifacts, there was a conversation about the possession of the artifacts, and that Vieira pointed out she doesn't care. Ultimately, they will end up with her at the end. Nothing has changed here. Our original deals are still the same. And the only other stuff I've got here is that there was an otherwise friendly conversation, nothing particularly of note other than Layla ending the conversation by saying she will show Vieira something later.
Which she ultimately did to all of us, but
Yeah.
and a mention of I do love him, you know. That's what I remember.
Ah.
See, I know. I remember the important bits. There you
Yeah,
go.
I didn't write that down. It didn't seem important.
Wow. Wow.
Ouch.
I rolled a
Ouch.
natural one for this.
Hey, I'm doing half the recap here.
That's right. That's very true.
It's true, yeah.
And okay, while that was going on, there was another conversation between Samir and Cassius,
Which I'm
which was
assuming you didn't write down either.
not that much, but I remember mostly from the top. Now, because I was in the conversation, it was difficult and it was emotional. I was like,
Hey, my recap last week was just a shit. Don't worry.
But basically, they talked about the situation with Vieira, where Samira mentioned that she felt like she dug a hole that she couldn't get out of. And Cassius basically referring with like, of course you can. It's just a way to do it is not apologize. It's just to own it, own what you did, and just be honest and open and allowing room for an actual conversation. That was like the most important takeaway. But Cassie's also confirming that, or with Samira, that when she came out of the vision, she saw something and that she was so worried about him instead. Well, she was the one that had just a like vision experience that must have been rough. So I don't think anything super important about the vision was shared from
Not really,
Samira's
no.
side.
I've got nothing about that. The only thing I've got that you haven't mentioned is that the conversation started off with Samira pointing out that she's actually scared, and that when she's scared, she gets angry as well. So that was the only other thing I've got written down. Otherwise, yeah, you pointed out pretty much everything else for that conversation I've got.
All right. And then back at the camp, so then we went back to the camp again. I think a little bit of time passed, but at some point Samira just went to Vieira and they were going to take a walk together.
Yeah, she was sleeping and I was waiting for her to wake up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You finished the conversation by being resolved to talk to Vieira now. Yes. And you got back to camp and she was already asleep.
I was sleeping. I was like, all right, hold that thought. And I think Samira waited up, but with weaving. So you did another like.
Yeah, because I started trancing early, so I was waking up at like 8 o'clock at night, basically.
Yes. So Samira spent the time weeping while Cassius and Layla did other things.
Canoodled.
Canoodled in the creek.
Made love. I'll let you know.
Yes.
Yes.
And
It's a synonym. It's a synonym.
No, it's
well,
not.
before
Decided upon it.
before it was actually canoodling. Now it was
Now it was making love. Yes.
because things happened.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It's escalated by one more stage, Lena.
It did.
I haven't been clued in, so it's still canoodling to me.
Yep.
Well, and then
That's so sad.
But wait, my brain just froze entirely on that one sentence. Okay, keep going.
So then basically Vera woke up and Samira went up to her and they went for a walk where I also just don't have any notes. Layla Cassis where Camp Cassis was just
Did you write down
chilling.
anything last week?
No, I wasn't part for half of the conversation. For the conversation where I was a part of, it was just me and someone else, and then I take shit notes because I'm in the conversation. So
Right.
yes, like my notes are better once we're all in the conversation. So because then I'm not doing the talking and we're kind of like half listening, but taking better notes overall of what's happening. But if it's just talking, then I just know what the sentiment was, but not necessarily what was discussed that well.
I mean, I'm not better either. I don't take notes when other people are having a scene.
Yeah, that's also the case. I'm also not there, so I was not there for the conversation between Layla and Samira.
See, I still
just
take notes.
There you go. I think
Vera,
you're just a better
Vera,
Dungeons & Dragons player. There we go.
Just a better note taker, I think.
Yes, I gladly
not necessarily not necessarily a better Dungeons and Dragons player. But then, having said that, you've had days where you have like 3.5 pages of notes, and I've got like half a page. So
like my last session was amazing in terms of notes.
So before
like
we
I
turn
have
this
4
into
pages.
half an hour talking about notes.
Notes, yeah.
Yes.
Viera woke up and greeted Samira, just saying good evening. She asked Viera if we should talk.
There was the heartful response of "You can always talk to me," which
you can always
hit
talk
me.
to me. Yeah. The only stuff I've got written down as far as that conversation, because obviously I was involved in that conversation, was there was a lot of talk about us just interpersonally interacting with each other, historical stuff that we've done, like the attempt at getting Samira to help with enchanting, and for want of a better phrase, being brushed off. We did manage to train together in the past, and that was kind of a breakthrough. So Viera just figured out maybe she's not interested in enchanting, maybe she prefers the more physical aspect side of things like training and stuff.
Yeah, we definitely talked about the how it came from. Yeah, exactly. How the point completely flew by Samira, and she explained how she took that up, and they actually made plans to both look about the enchanting thing and also get back into sparring together. And just generally talking whenever they have time in the evening.
Yeah, there was a lot of conversation about the enchantment with the Giuseppe and the smithy, particularly maybe hiring him to teach both of us how to enchant weapons and stuff. We did discuss the old ones briefly as well. That came up.
Yeah, that came up.
Samira did also talk at length a little bit about herself and mentioned that her past has been traumatic, but she didn't go into any detail.
Yeah, she was more like in the future when we aren't, in the future, like the days that we're going to talk, we can actually get further into it and not,
we can get to know each other a bit more. Because I think Viera pointed out that she knows a little bit. You've mentioned your brother, but you've never mentioned an awful lot about him, only that you have the tattoo to, like, in his honor to remind you of him, essentially.
Don't freak out over
one of your tattoos.
The Foundry stuff.
Okay.
It's fine. Samira also pointed out that she second guesses herself a lot because she didn't back then, and it caused pain, but again didn't go into any particular detail of what happened.
Exactly, she was second guessed
to
about
cause that. And Viera did the whole comparison of like when you're in combat and it's a life and death situation, you never second guess yourself, which is actually a far more important time. So if you can manage to not second guess yourself in a dangerous situation, why is it such a struggle? And just trying to get to the bottom of like what the problem is to try and help her.
Yeah, and then we talked about
get
the
through it.
actual Samuel problem that came up, which was her being like frightened about that situation, and also Vera sharing that she probably already put herself in risk with sharing what she did, and if any of them that got shared around to Layla, for example, Vera was scared that she was going to die at that point.
Yeah, I do have that as
Vera,
like
Vera
very
wasn't
important.
scared, but she's pretty sure that she will die
Yeah.
if you do that. She's not scared in the sense that she trusts you both not to share that.
Yes.
So there is that.
We also talked about the warehouse a little bit, which
Yeah.
there was a little bit of the blame game going around, like communication, and we did that, and Samira was like just each time with Viera and Cassius, and Cassius with Samira, and Samira with Viera, there was each the blame game going on with who was at fault, or and then
and I think Viera's response to that ultimately was we just need to communicate a lot more in combat.
Exactly.
And we need to, if somebody makes a call, we go with it, unless somebody says that's a really bad idea because X, and we can communicate that quickly and curtly in combat. Ultimately, it's about working cohesively as a team.
Yeah.
When it comes to all of that. I don't think an awful lot else was discussed.
Not really, I think. Otherwise, there were just little points there, a bit of joking that happened, but otherwise, no. Not
A
really.
little bit of light humor to try and lift spirits a little bit.
I also brought up about Hollow Stone.
Yes!
Yes. Okay. Disregarding that noise there.
Yes, Hollow Stone.
Hollow Stone was brought up if we want to go there still.
No,
because...
I'm not doing it for that reason. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Okay.
To which Viera's response was, "Now we're going back to Northgate now."
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and also the brushing aside of Viera's own experiences brought up was also pointed out, as well as Samira pointing out that Viera could feel free to share stuff like campfire stories and her culture in the future. Like they weren't going to do any of that brushing aside anymore in the future. That she apologized for that.
Yeah.
And then she flicked a coin at Cassius.
Exactly, that's the point.
Back.
Yeah.
As we came back to camp, and it, I believe Layla missed it, and so did Cassius.
Yes.
Yeah, and it hit him in the eye.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And at that point,
at that point, So basically, Viera and Samir got back to the camp. And then there was a discussion between all of them, and Layla said that she was going to show them something. And she went off into the dark, and we heard bones cracking, wet, sludgy sounds, and then a pair of ethereal blue eyes appearing. And stepping into the light was a very
underfed
skinny, a very underfed displacer beast.
A cat with tentacles.
With tentacles and 4 front legs, and that can shimmer around.
And teleport. She can displace herself short distances.
Yes, and appear almost as she is in multiple places at once, close to each other, so you can't really locate her that well. And then Layla shifted back, and there was a little bit of discussion about Misha, or at least nightmares. And she can eat nightmares, literally Sin Eater. She doesn't know how that will end up with Misha because she never saw that one that intense. And Cassius basically was like, well, if you don't know what's going to happen, I don't think that's a good option. But we can't also really trap them because they are already trapped, like everyone else in the in-between. The fact we also got, they are not really evil, but they just simply this accumulation of spirits taken form that have some resemblance of a goal left that drives them. And then more importantly, we also got a confirmation that Layla is vulnerable to silver. But that's because the original creature that she kind of resembles or
Made a
takes the
pact with,
form of.
whatever.
Yeah, that she made a pact with, that is some kind of a fiend, and that all fiends are actually vulnerable to silver.
Mhm.
And the because that's the metal that they were using, and that was basically their strength, but it was cursed or poisoned by the
war.
Celestials. Yes, so that was what's the greatest strength became their weakness, and then the fiends were like, "Well, fuck you, we can do that too," and did it to gold. Which is actually also a point of note to remind you. Amalia Graf is supposedly, or she was speaking some kind of like archaic celestial.
Do we know that she's a celestial, like in character?
Yes, Bo, before he told that.
Have you told the rest of us? Because I am not sure on that. I didn't want to say anything when that conversation was brought up. In Celestial's Gold thing was brought up last week.
I'm gonna
hazard
a guess at yes, because I do remember Vieira doing her detecti and pointing out that the elf is not an elf. And we then had the whole auction thing, and we went back to the tavern. We were the first escorted off the island because we bought the map, and we had a whole discussion.
It was a whole discussion. You guys know that
about all the other people who were there as well, because there was the, I forget the name of them now, but there was the really important trade person from the traders network.
Yeah.
And there was the fact that Amalia Graf, Vieira pointed out she didn't ping as an elf or a human or an anything on those spectrums.
Okay.
And I think Cassius pointed out that Bo had told him, or I don't think you said Bo had told you, I just think you said no, I think she's a celestial.
No, Cassius actually did say that Bo explained that she is like
Samira, but
like
different.
Samira, but more like
Samira,
Destrin.
But more like Destrin.
More like Destrin. Yeah.
And that she like, and I think Cassius also mentioned that when she was like doing some kind of spell, that she said something in like some dialect or like archaic sounding celestial.
Archaic celestial.
That was also shared.
Good to know.
And I made a note for myself about that, but I don't think that was specifically mentioned. But yeah, celestials are weak to gold. So
good
that's
info to have.
Good to know. And then basically the last notes I have are 6th of Harvest, where we went into the Fish Creek Hills and we arrived at Karen at noon.
Exactly, yeah.
Karen that's at noon. Like after
almost,
like
yeah.
in between there, like.
I have one more sentence of note, but I don't know if I should say it.
Yes.
Cassius challenged Samira to spook him and sneak up on him.
To sneak off on him, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Vieira picked up 16 portions of henbane, which is a sedative.
True.
Yeah.
Sedative poison.
Yeah. And Vieira also admitted that she was stalking Cassius for a bit.
Yes.
Which Cassius found super creepy.
Yeah. There was that vague illusion of we were training in the city and Vieira practiced on him occasionally as well as other people, but
you are now also able to post GIFs into the chat. But it has to have with .gif.
So can we just whisper GIFs to you? Just annoy you with GIFs?
No, it's just like I realized that you made the comment in response to my GIF, but that if we ever go back to rewatch it, it will be completely out of context because nobody can see the GIF. So there you go. I rectified that.
Well, good.
It also means I can actually post pictures of the things that I show, like actually into chat. So there you go.
Sure. Yeah.
Amazing. So I can respond to things that Cass is not a part of with GIFs, and it's not an OSC.
Yes. Yes. Amazing.
Oh boy.
This
is dangerous. This is a dangerous path to go down.
Expect a lot of girl in front of a burning building. That's my favorite.
Yes. Awesome.
Right.
So it's noon.
Thank you everyone else for helping because that was absolute trash.
You're welcome.
Yeah, as always, it's always a team effort to some degree, isn't it? So.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, on the outskirts of Karen, around noon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks like quite a nice, peaceful place, to be fair.
Did
Hey.
you flip the picture?
Hey, it's flipped.
Yeah.
It's flipped.
Yes.
That's not what I remember.
It's a pity we're about to arrive in this peaceful town and suddenly
It's
cause all chaos.
flipped because this is my screen. Here. Give me a second.
What?
It's uploading in OC. Give me a moment.
Wait,
What?
Hurry up.
How the hell,
This is
how the
my
hell do you even
screen.
post gifs?
Because the chat was on top of the castle.
Huh.
So I
And?
flipped it.
Karen has just completely inverted within 24 hours.
Yes.
Like, as we're watching it.
Yeah.
It shimmers and the illusion disappears.
Would you
Suddenly
stop
it's all
being a
reverted.
troll? Shut up.
We just step into the mirror dimension.
You want to hear
Wait,
about Karen
wait.
or not?
Wait,
Are we
wait.
Are we
How do you
currently
post gifs?
standing in? Are we
Wait.
currently standing in puddles?
No, you're not.
Okay, well, it can't be in the mirror dimension then.
No.
Good to know.
Well, no, we're not in the upside down yet.
And to answer your question, Hubble, I have no idea.
No idea what. I missed
How
it.
do you
You
post
post a
gifs?
gift.
You just copy the
A
link.
gift?
Like,
You can post me a gift if you like. Always
Isn't
happy
that-
to receive gifts.
like this. Well, okay, now it's posting the GIF into Discord, but you know what I mean.
Not really, no.
No, it's still
Yeah.
posting the GIF.
It's posting 2 gifs.
Yeah, you just one still, one actual GIF. Oh no,
there
it's
you go.
okay. Yeah.
It's like you copy the URL of the GIF and then you post it in the chat and hit enter and then post GIF, basically. Basically like it works in Discord. When
Or
you
in
copy.
Discord, I just use the GIF button and just get them
Yeah,
from there.
but when you find a GIF online and copy the URL of that GIF and then post it into. No, it has to end with .gif.
Huh.
It has to.
Whoops.
Yeah. You gotta open it and then copy the URL. It has to end with .gif.
What if it doesn't end in .gif?
But
Yeah,
then
you
it's
just-
not gonna read it.
Oh, you
There
can
go.
just adjust like .gif into it. There you go.
Yes.
Huh.
I just copied the link from Discord, and then put it in the chat, and then said .gif, and it works.
There you
So
go.
does that mean
Yeah.
you can post images as well?
Yes. As long as it ends in the ending of the image, like .jpeg or PNG. Like yes.
This is a bad idea.
This is too much power.
Yeah, this is a bad idea.
I mean, I can always delete those posts, so I have the
Yeah.
power for that.
Right. Should we start? An hour late.
Yes.
There's no late. It's already we're early by a couple of days.
Does anyone have time frames for which they need to abandon session before
Nope.
we do start?
I'm good.
I think probably somewhere around 10:30, my girlfriend is gonna be like, "Yo, I want to go to bed," and I'm in the bedroom, so she might
Oh,
kick me
okay.
out, and I need to shift over. I can
But-
then just pause and shift over to the other room.
It's fine. It's fine. It's great. We can continue. So okay.
So what you're saying is at 10:30 there's a break.
Likely, yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
We can put our estimate on the time on the only one who has a social situation side of this. Go on.
It's fine. When your girlfriend is about to kick you out of the bedroom, but we shall
Yeah.
take a break and then you shall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's perfectly in 2 hours anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Anyway,
Mhm.
as you're
It's actually
coming
fucking start.
around, as you're coming around a hill, a bend, you're following the road the entire time, right? The landscape has become a bit more hilly. And with the increase of hills, the pine forests have started appearing proper now. Something that you have been only seeing in the distance. And honestly, the last 2 days on the rolling hills, not even that much. Like trees were actually more the exception than the rule. However, as you come around the bend, the first thing you will notice is that it's a small town. Hamlet, really, around a tiny lake. Well, more like a pond, I guess. It's the village of Karen. It covers approximately an area if it tells you, if that says anything to you, of 8 acres. So that's like the entire span. Judging by the houses, it's like, I mean, based on your experience and seeing other towns, it probably has a population of like, I don't know, 400 people, 500 people. Depends on how many people live per house, right? It has the castle, which is a small castle, not, you know, it's small. It's a small castle. And it's a crossroads, basically, into 2 different directions. If you would go to is it east? God damn it! Let me double check before I send you the wrong direction again, because I keep turning it in my head. Yes, actually, I'm correct. So the road to the east would lead you further to Windrock, which is the capital city, and to Dusktown. And the road to the west, like northwest, would lead you to the coast to Dresden Falls, which is one of the connected cities along the coastline. But yeah, it's a crossroads, and it's in this like smaller dip, basically, within this like shallow valley, right? Even from the hill, you can see what seems to be a village of humans, you know, because it's noon, people are up and about. And it looks gorgeous, actually, with its thatched roofs and pine wood rooftops and clay walls. It's this, you know, at the bottom of a quiet pine wood forest and a small fishing lake. It has a really nice and peaceful atmosphere to it. But yeah, by far the most interesting looking landmark is the castle itself. Yeah. So, what you doing?
First things first, as we're walking along, you said that the trees are starting to turn into pine trees.
No, the trees have been pine trees all along, right? It's just that now you have a proper forest there, not just like individual pine trees.
Yeah, okay. Vieira's specifically looking at what type of pine trees they are, and whether any of them would classify as like a mountain pine, effectively.
It would, like, if you go up to the trees, this is the weird thing. It's like, it's pine trees that you would usually expect in the north, in colder climate. Mm-hmm. And you can roll me a nature check.
Not terrible.
You will see, as you have seen before, close to Northgate, traces deeper into the forest of like sudden tree deaths. And, you know, overgrown, they're like mostly decayed by now. Like, it's been hundreds of years, right? Mm-hmm. It's basically just the larger trees that have been, you know, sticking around long enough that the decay didn't completely, like, turn them into nothing. But some of the older trees, you can see marks of them basically adapting and having a transition period where they adjusted to the warmer climate. Because, I mean, even in colder climates, the trees do have summer times. It's just that they had to survive a permanent summertime, basically, now.
Yeah. She's specifically looking for whether they're mountainous pine type trees. They might not be in a mountain, but they might be a mountain pine variant.
They do like it, yes.
The reason she's looking for that is that she hands down knows that they burn hotter.
Yeah.
They're used for smithing, basically.
Yeah. You also seem to, Samira will notice it because you're kind of looking down at the town. There is a building that looks like a blacksmith.
Ooh. Nice.
Okay. Which is quite unusual given that...
It's not large and you don't see what it's making, but It is
No.
existent, yeah.
They're probably working just raw iron.
Yeah.
Workers' tools.
Ironstone or sandstone.
Nails and
stuff.
such,
Yeah.
Yeah, just, like,
hinges.
very basic stuff. Like
That's all good. Yeah, Vera will be quite interested. She'll toss one of the pine cones to Samira and say this might be a good place to source pine from.
That's true.
It burns hotter, so you can smelt finer steel out of it.
Oh, okay. That's maybe something for the future. If we continue to work on our shop, maybe arrange something.
Yeah, we might want to arrange a shipment from this region. Well, just worth bearing in mind. We haven't seen pine trees anywhere else other than kind of the plainsy, and this place seems a bit more foresty. So
That's true. Good eye.
While you're looking at that, by the way, Nimrod is shifting back into his humanoid form and putting on a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question, Nimrod. How many days do you think is about travel to actual Holston? Is it left?
Well, 3 days.
you said we could go
Okay.
like direct, right? Like through
Yes.
the plains. Okay. And is there anything else you can tell us about this town? About Karen? That
Aaron?
might be important. Yeah.
It's a trade town on the midway. The caravans usually use it to lay over on the halfway point between the coasts.
Do they generally trade coin for goods, or is it a bartering system like one of the camps we've just come from?
Here you will be able to trade for coin.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need any more supplies, guys? I mean, we have. If each of us eats rations-wise, we have 4 more days of them. Do we need any? We could get some more rations, but otherwise, do we need other supplies? You guys think?
You have enough to drink. Yeah.
Yeah, I did completely forget until about now, but I did put the casket of water into the bag, so we have that if we need it.
Oh, I didn't mean that kind of drink, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, also we have alcohol.
Okay. Good.
You drank it a couple days ago. A bit of it. Don't forget.
I didn't keep track of that.
Yeah, I know, it's hard. For you. But yeah, do we
Hey.
need anything else more?
Layla hooks her arms into Cass's arms, starts dragging him down the road, like the hill, into the town proper.
I don't think so.
Looks like no. Bye.
We can. Well, we're still walking and talking anyway. It's not like
Yeah.
you're disappearing any faster than we are. I don't think so.
Okay.
I do vaguely remember thinking I need to get something, but
Okay.
and I remember thinking I need to get something the next time we're in town. But
Interesting.
but we've been walking for 8 hours, so I've forgotten.
Maybe you remember. I mean, I think it's noon, so we have some time still here. I assume we're going tomorrow.
Well, that's a good question. Do we want to lurk around, and maybe you and I can go to the smithy and see what sort of stuff they're producing, and see if there's a way of organizing a supply of pines to us
We can try.
in Tucson. Once the supply starts, then we can always set up
Well, let me
trade.
give you an overlook of what you have available. Okay, so as you go into the town proper, you will draw attention, of course, you know. Mind you, a good part of the town is actually out in the fields because, you know, hard work. This is the kind of town that lives off the land and, you know, you don't really sit around and do nothing, right? This is like the season of where you have a whole bunch of things that you have to get done before the red light starts. But in
Is
general,
it mostly humans walking around the town as we're walking
it's it's human spirit, full stop.
in? Okay.
Yes. So you will find out that there's one noble house in this town. It is, unsurprisingly, in the castle. The castle is called Castle Asperg, or Asperg Castle. I will post it into the chat because I know you suck at names.
Thank you.
It is owned by Lord Bodrick of Asperg and his wife, Lady Mildred. Here, I'm posting that also in the chat. it has a small contingent of guards, about 10, that are mostly also helping in the fields and stuff around the town.
They're more like militia, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're like formally
they
called
got-
guards, but you
Yeah.
can see like the gate to the castle is open. Like there's like children, livestock, chickens running around. It's not the type of castle like, oh my god, we're royalty, right? No, it's like, yeah, sure, it's
It's a
It's
small
there.
manor
Yeah.
house, basically, that's been fortified.
yeah. You have across the entirety of the village, you know, in different locations, you have a baker, you have a barber, you have a blacksmith, which is a toolsmith, by the way. So they do nails, tools, and, you know, farming supplies and that kind of stuff. There is a dedicated carpenter, but basically here, this is the kind of people who do small repairs on their own anyway. There is if you talk to people, I mean, and this is something that Layla would do anyway, and Cassius is also kind of like the type of person who like asks around. But you have 2 official cooks in the castle. There is a butcher that also kind of works mostly in the castle, but also kind of helps the entire town, right? So whatever's in the castle is
people
kind of
will
like
bring animals to him,
Yeah.
and he'll prepare and slaughter them and stuff for them.
There's a hat maker again connected to the castle, but if anyone else needs caps and stuff, because the lady likes her hats, so they have a hat maker. They have 4 maidservants that are tending to the family because they have young daughters. I mean, not young, like teenage daughters. So they have like 4 maidservants, and again, partially also townfolk. Basically, there's 1 mason, 1 mercer, with like basically, well, 1 general store, which is like has anything that is not supplied by themselves in their own households. And it's basically this is where the trade comes through mostly, you know, because it's like a shop that has whatever, anything. There's like, you know, the plasterer, the roofer, the shoemaker, 1 tailor, a tanner, and 1 tavern that is not an inn. It's like a drinking hole.
So they don't have an inn.
They don't have an inn, no. And Nimrod will tell you that people usually just ask the townfolk if they can spend a night in the stables, or if they're like some, you know, more important caravan, they spend the night at the castle.
So they got stables.
I mean, yeah, they have stables for the farm animals.
Okay.
We can
There
set, we
is
can
proper
set up a
horse
camp, right?
stables in the castle, because, you know, the lords and ladies have their, you know, horses. But it's mostly stables for, you know, farm animals. For the cowsies and stuff like that.
Alright.
So this is what you have here. People are very welcoming, by the way. Like, as curious as, you know, small town folk usually get, you know, hey, new faces, that's interesting. But nobody is like suspicious or hostile or anything. Nimrod will tell you that there's usually a pack of wolves nearby that protects the town and works with them, right? But they don't live in the town, they live in the forest.
Well, first things first, is probably the general store is maybe the best place to go to arrange some sort of trade deal with Pines.
Yeah, could be.
Because even if we're making weapons, we're going to need a supply of wood and fuel for the smithy.
What about the carpenter? He probably has some connections.
Carpenter potentially, general store potentially, even potentially the lord may arrange it, because it would be a town trade.
Yes, actually both will point you towards the Lord.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. Alright. I guess, we're gonna make a business deal.
Around the time you arrive, if you ask about the Lord is actually out in the fields, helping with the harvest.
Supervising.
No, helping. Actually helping.
Oh, okay, hands on.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's nice.
General feel of things, Viera won't pry too much, but Lord positive, negative?
No,
any general...
they seem very fond of the Lord and the Lady.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just
The
in case we were
lady
gonna make
is
a deal and he was
more
gonna get
indoors,
ousted.
but she does like coming into the village and like seeing
Perusing the shops and...
not perusing the shop. There's no shops, right? But
Well,
more
there's
like
a general store and a blacksmith and a hat maker.
checking on the women, making sure the children are taken care of, checking on the like, hey, if anyone needs a midwife or anything. Like she's like, imagine like a duchess, right, going into the village.
Mm-hmm.
Inquiring what's going on with the village and basically doing the socializing part of the lordship, and the lordship is more like hands-on out in the fields with the farming folk.
One of the shops you said there was a mercer.
That's the shop. That's the general store.
Oh, that's the name of the shop.
Mercenary, yeah, like
Right.
mercantile, whatever the name for that is.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so are we setting up a quote-unquote camp first? I don't know if we're camping or if we're going to the stable.
I don't want to sleep in stables. The others is even better than that.
If we're heading to speak to the Lord, maybe we should ask him if we can... Like, A, we would like to set up camp here just for the afternoon. We'll be gone by tomorrow morning. But also, B, we have a trade proposal that
You guys want to do like
are
a trade
interested in.
proposal? Maybe they have spaces there as well to sleep. Who knows?
Could be, yeah.
Like
Maybe.
a room would be nice.
Do you two want to do the trade proposal? Essentially, what we're looking for is a supply of pine cones and pine wood from the forest.
Since you know a lot of the details about the actual shop, I think it would be good to have you with us.
I mean, I can be there, but obviously the detail is we need shipments of pine wood and pine cones, particularly the northern pines, the mountain pines. And obviously we will pay to have it shipped to us.
How many? How frequently?
You
Starting
would
when?
probably be looking at a metric ton a season.
We'd have to get a pricing on that to see if we are doing this in, like, distributing the costs or just in one singular amount.
Yeah, we'd pay per season, essentially.
Yeah.
But for as long as that smithy is running, we are going to need that supply.
Yes.
And this
We'd
is
also
by
need to
far
figure
and
out
away.
transport, yeah.
Transport, potentially. We could even hit up Creo for transport once a season and pay him to transport it to Tucson. It's not like he doesn't...
Well, he's more by sea, isn't he? So we'd need to have it arranged to go over there.
But these people could arrange transport to Northgate,
Mm-hmm.
and then Northgate to
Or
Tucson.
there's
Could be done
also,
with Creo.
I don't remember its exact name, but there's another coastal city nearer than Northgate, I think.
I don't know which one's closer by the map. Someone would have to pull the map out.
Whoop, pull it out.
Shinny's jumped onto the map. I've jumped onto the map.
Yep, let's jump onto
You
the
can
map.
just click on it yourself and then hop back.
So Dresden Falls.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not that. Oh no, Cliff Reach. Yeah, Northgate's bloody miles away.
Yes.
You
So
might as
it
well,
would be better to
transport it to Tucson along the main road if you're sending it to Northgate.
Exactly.
Dresden Falls or Cliff Reach would probably be the shorter route for Creo to transport.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
And he did say he was interested in expanding his trade northwards, and this kind of gets him further up the coast. Once a season at least.
Sure.
Yeah, he was interested in more further northwards, but
He was also pointing out that he doesn't like coming this far with the ship because of the shark people.
Okay.
But the sea trade routes, so...
And how about to
They did
Windrock to
point out that
capitalize?
the trade routes are small fishing vessels. They're not the ships the size of Creos, because
No, I
those
know,
get attacked.
but I mean, you're talking about once a season, so...
Yeah, I don't know if the shark people are only upwards or because from here you can just from Tucson you can also do the downwards route to
the
the
Windrock,
capital.
and that's
Yeah.
like probably a way larger trade route. So
Exactly. Yeah, we'd have to see if the problem by water is the same thing on that side too.
Probably the same sort of distance anyway when you talk about going in and around.
Well,
the
yeah,
coast
also
of it,
keep
yeah,
in
so-
mind that Kriya's ship can make this distance very quickly as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do we want to talk to Creo first and say, hey, we've got this idea. We're interested in getting shipments from Windrock, the capital of Guyland, to Hohir once per season. We'll pay you for it.
Mhm.
And if he says, no, I'm not interested, then obviously we need to look at arranging something else.
Mhm.
And if he says, yes, we're interested, then at least then we know we can go ahead and arrange the shipment here and say to these guys, first shipment due whenever. Like, they're going to have to gather the requirements first, obviously, and then cart it to Windrock,
Yeah.
and we'll pay for the material and for the transport
Mhm.
on arrival.
Yeah, we can ask Kriya first to see if that's even, possible.
Who's
And
gonna
what his rates would be.
Who's gonna pay them on arrival if we're not there? We have people there.
The smiths and working in the blacksmith shop will pay them.
Okay. Do they
Do
have
we have
enough
that
funds?
figured out yet? Do we have that figured out?
We don't have the blacksmiths hired, but everyone else there is hired, so I could send instructions to the
Do they have a stash there
Yeah.
already?
Do they have enough funds to do that, or you will need to send some?
They will probably have enough by the time we get back. Keep in mind, we've got to get back and hire smiths to even do something with
Yes.
this. So, I don't know about you guys. As far as where we're going is concerned, we were heading towards Hollowstone,
Hollowstone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is up there.
which is past Windrock
Windrock,
anyway.
Mm.
So Windrock is probably only a couple of hours deviation to get to the town. We could have a look at what the trade facilities are like and just the capital city. We might as well have a look at it while we're passing.
Mm-hmm.
And then go from there. But the plan was kind of, as far as our goals are concerned, we're talking about getting the next item on the list. We can't do that until we have the researchers back.
Yeah.
So we have essentially some time to kill before the researchers come back. We might as well see if we can sort this out. And who knows, maybe there's pine forests around the capital too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It might be that
Honestly,
we can.
Honestly, if I'm thinking more that we check out first, ask Kriya if it's possible through a trade route to Windrock even, then check out Windrock
absolutely.
first.
I mean, in any case, like, I wouldn't be against checking out the capital anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
And
that
if
doesn't matter.
Windrock-
Like, there
yeah.
probably isn't that much to do here.
Yeah,
But-
and if Windrock doesn't work out in that they have the pines themselves, we have to make our way back anyway, so we could just stop by here again.
Yeah, we could.
Possibly. Yeah. Okay,
Because, I
so
mean, other than finding the
We could-
next.
We could still talk to the Lord and get a rate on like an estimated rate on
Yeah,
what it
we
would
could
cost.
we could inquire about a trade deal and just get details, not necessarily arrange something, and then obviously we'll be in touch if we're
Exactly.
interested in arranging that deal.
Exactly, yeah.
By which time you will have known him enough that you can send him a message, or send a message to one of his servants who arranges it, because it'll be a servant who arranges the deal.
Mhm.
It probably won't be the Lord.
Yeah, he seems to
considering
be
how
hands-on,
hands-on he seems, yeah, he might do it himself. I don't know.
Maybe.
so we'll have to
It's
see.
guessing.
Yeah, we'll see. So I think it's worth exploring the deal, exploring the town that we're in quickly, and setting up for the night, and then moving on.
Mhm.
But the wood around this region is really good for smithing, so if it changes as we get close to the capital, then I wouldn't want to use any pine tree. These are specifically mountainous pines.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said, you have the expertise, yeah.
They burn hotter, they burn brighter, they get rid of more impurities in the metal that you're working. So
Right.
they generally make better weapons out of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, let's start the beginning phase of asking about the Lord. See how the raids are here.
So we're heading out into the fields to find the Lord?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can also just, like, if you head into the town, you will quickly find out that if you just hang out in the tavern, he usually drops by in the evening off the field.
That sounds like a way better idea. I don't want to go around traipsing into the field looking for some lord. Like, we have to wait anyway. We're gonna relax here, right? So we can wait around, have a drink. He'll come to his tavern.
Nimrod, by the way, has excused himself. He will go looking for the pack off into the wilderness.
Okay.
Just let him know that he's coming through with travelers.
All right.
Okay. So I would suggest you guys, if you wanted to take a look here at the shops, we do that.
Shop.
Shop.
Well, I'm gonna have a look at the smith.
Need to go to the barber, so.
Barber.
Yeah.
Okay.
The beard is getting too long. I haven't shaved it in a while.
Layla can just use your dagger, can't she?
She not?
You just scared about scratching up your face?
She looks at she looks at you. Yes. What? You don't trust me with your knife on your face?
Of course I do. I would have nothing more rather than your hands on the knife near my face.
Oh shit.
I think he's just scared that you don't have any soap on you, and that's probably what he...
Hey, come on, it's Layla. She has soap on her.
Insinuating that she stinks. How about no?
She has products on her. Come on.
I have you know, I naturally smell good. That's just the way I am. No, but I do have soap. Thank you very much.
Well.
Yeah, so what's stopping you?
Have fun, you two.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think we have a date to the blacksmith now. And you do the shaving.
Look at Layla's like, okay, alright.
I mean, if you really want to do it right now, sure.
None of us are going to be in the tavern when the Lord comes past, so we're going to miss him, but...
It's not going to take me 5 hours to shave him. Thank you very much.
Not with that knife. Well,
nope.
See you in the afterlife. Bye.
I'll just use my own dagger. Light.
Here, and I just like take out the dagger out of my boot. Use this one. It's a superior dagger.
She drags you off to not into the tavern because that's like not great. So you're not gonna shave in the tavern.
Not very hygienic.
Very hygienic, yeah.
She takes you to what looks like not a dock. It's not a dock. It's like a little
pier.
Walk pier, yeah. There's like some kids sitting there and fishing. So she'll pop you there, and then she'll take care of your beard.
Amazing.
So you get her very gently up close and personal while she's shaving your beard. There you go. Imagine some very cheesy music going along with that. What? It's Friday.
Not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
I'm not great at describing on a Friday night. There you go. That's what you get from me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, good. Head to the blacksmith. Just have a look at the quality of the stuff. More interested, rather, in... Because I know he's probably using the pine wood or the pine cones as a fuel source. Just interested in looking at the general quality of the stuff that he's producing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's like a basic blacksmith.
Mm-hmm. But does it look like he has better skill than the shop allows him? Or is it a case
Not
of
really, it's just a standard blacksmith.
Yeah. Okay. So general basic stuff. That's fine. And he's only producing tools.
Yes. Tools, horseshoes,
Like
nails.
hammers, nails,
Yes.
all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Okay.
All the good basics.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
Yoinked you back to the sea.
Hmm. So you said I think I remember you saying something about you wanting to learn smithing yourself.
It's not a very interesting village. It's like a very run-of-the-mill hamlet, sleepy, calm, peaceful, boring.
Yeah.
To Cassius, it will be boring.
I mean, it's kind of peaceful, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of peaceful. It's quaint, is the word you're looking for.
Like, it's okay for a day, then it gets
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm. Would I say that I'm learning smithing? I guess you could say that I know enough already.
You certainly are knowledgeable in some sense, yeah.
Basic stuff. I mean, a lot of that comes from my past, though. So.
Oh, so you have experience already?
Yeah, I mean, among elves, you don't just grow up and do one thing. Generally speaking, everybody tries a bit of everything to try and get a grasp of what it is you like and what you enjoy. And whilst I wouldn't class myself as a full smith in that sense, I learned the basics. I know how to kind of piece metal together to create basic like metal poles and stuff like that from smithing, and I know what I'm looking for when it comes to fuel, and I know what I'm looking for when it comes to quality of metal or rock, depending on which one, whether you're extracting iron raw or whether you are kind of given iron ore and you are then just smelting that down. I know enough to smelt basic stuff and to craft basic stuff, but obviously I want to improve that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very particularly interesting way to grow up, having the chances like that. That's certainly better than a lot of other options with fixed apprenticeships and such.
Yeah, because my kin lived for so long, spending 5 years learning smithing is nothing as far as we go. And it's very common for children to spend 10, 15 years doing one thing only to move on to the next. So 10 or 15 years is what some humans would class as becoming an expert or becoming very proficient in a particular skill. If somebody's been smithing for 15 years, they're probably a pretty accomplished smith as far as humans go. Obviously amongst my kin, because we just live for so much longer, we've got so much more time to dabble. And it's a case of some might spend 10 years practicing poetry and singing and then get bored of that and move on to learning a musical instrument because they're very much a performer in their heart. They just don't know what kind of performance they want to do yet. And they might spend 60 years learning 6 different instruments before they finally stumble upon the thing that they really enjoy, which is storytelling, and then they'll spend a lot of their time doing that. But we never settle on one thing. Just because you love something doesn't mean you stop looking for other things you might also love.
That's a lovely way to pass the ages, I guess. But you're quite young, right? So have you had a specific
Relatively
focus?
young. For the most part, yeah. We dabbled a bit. Obviously, you start learning trades kind of the same sort of age as humans, 10, 12. And I never spent very long learning much, but smithing was one of the things I started learning. Wood carpentry was another one that I put a bit more effort into learning that because I found it more enjoyable. It was quicker to carve an animal or something like that, trying to make it out of metal. Sure, the metal will last a hell of a lot longer, but it also takes you like 3 weeks
Yeah.
longer to produce it if you're trying to smith it. So that's kind of why I slipped from smithing into the wood carving side of things. And the wood carving kind of naturally went into, I was always, I guess, a little bit restless as a child, so I never really wanted to stay around the village. I was always curious about what wild adventures the hunters went on, and I knew to some degree that I was blowing it up as fantasy. They went out with a bow and arrows, and they hunted, and then they came back, and it was that simple. But it was always that curiosity of what is it, what did they see, what did they come
a child's
across,
imagination,
what did they learn in order to track an animal, in order to track groups, in order to avoid danger in case you come across something dangerous while you're out there. There was always a little bit more excitement to that. So I ended up picking up a bow and arrow probably around about age 16. And I spent the better half of 10 years practicing hunting and tracking and foraging and all the rest of it, which is, I guess, why I'm so good at that now. I've had 10 years worth of practice, so... but yeah, I learned the basics of smithing and wood carpentry. Those are the only two things I really learned. Didn't really have much time for writing, and wasn't really interested in writing, hence why I didn't really learn to write. But that's progressing now.
Yeah, how's that been going so far? I mean...
Kind of hasn't.
Okay.
We've been on the road, so it's
Yes,
difficult to find time to sit and write when we're on the road. There's always something to do, make a camp, catch game.
Oh yes, I very much understand that. I've been fighting to find some of my time to work on my things, but in the future we could you could write, I could read, and Cassius could do his hair.
While you're talking, by the way, I assume you're outside the blacksmith at this point. You see one of the guards.
Probably walking towards the general store.
You see one of the guards passing past you and like calling out to the blacksmith, because people are not subtle in this place. And if you stay around, let me know, then I will tell you what you can hear. If not, you move on, then you move on.
The error is lingering.
You basically hear that the guardsman came to ask the blacksmith if he can urgently come over because the lady's favorite horse needs a horseshoe replacement. It fell off. And she's very upset about that because it's her favorite horse.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Just wondering, because you stood still for a bit.
Yeah, the guard was talking to the smith, but it's not particularly interesting.
And then a minute later,
reassuring.
you see the guard then leaving with the blacksmith towards the castle.
Yeah.
Oh, good thing we were here before he left.
Yeah. Anyway, heading on to the general store, I think.
Yes, so...
Do we have any kind of rope in our supplies?
Yes. Let me just open the... We have 100 feet of rope in our standard kit.
Okay. We've got climbing gear as well, don't we?
Climber's kit, yeah. A separate climber's kit, yeah. Were you interested in climbing?
Downwards, if we're going into the tunnels underneath Hollowstone, you never know what might open up, and you never know what you might need to climb back out of, either.
Oh, so you're more interested in that now? I thought...
Not particularly, but...
Well, you don't have to force yourself. Like we talked yesterday, we don't even know if it's still actually a thing.
Yeah, a part of me's curious because he's mentioned the old dwarven underhalls. But a part of me doesn't want to go too far either. So
I don't like we said, it was a while ago, so I don't know if it's much relevant now. But I asked Nimrod if he had any memories of reliving memories where there were like a drow around down there. He said he hadn't seen anything like that, so like it's been some time since then, and it's big, so who knows? But
Well, yeah.
yeah.
The visions I assume he's seen are from 400 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So was that before? I assume that was just after the world was inverted.
Just before.
Just before, yeah. Because yeah, they during like just after the Red Sun and everything.
So was Hollowstone on the outside then when this happened?
I assume so, yeah. It was outside during a more northern sort of climate. I don't remember its exact name, but it was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
more sort of kingdomy
that
than
makes
it is
me
right now.
even less likely to go in.
Yeah.
Just because whatever was on the outside isn't necessarily connected to the same things on the inside.
True. Yeah.
And we don't know how that would have changed.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, otherwise I'm just kind of mentally going through my head of what we've got. We've got lanterns and stuff. We've all got light sources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have plenty of things to carry stuff around in case we need to pack something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bugging me now. I'm convinced that there was something that I wanted to get, but I can't remember what it was.
Sorry, it would help if I knew, but obviously I don't. When did you think about it? Of it?
When we were on the road yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Just before we were coming up to camp.
Well, you were flitzing around a lot, so maybe while you were gathering, you were thinking of something?
It could be, it'll come to me eventually, or it wasn't important enough for me to remember.
We're doing a detour to the capital now anyway, so not really in a bigger of a rush too much.
Can we have a quick look in the general store just for some vials?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That's not what I intended to buy, but I've just realized that I only have one. Let's see if they've got any glass making facilities locally.
Yeah, let's see if that's a thing. Or if they import it.
Yeah. Ginny?
Yes?
Glass vials.
Let me see. Because that's not like a common thing here in this village.
Hence why I'm asking.
Yo, give me a second.
No.
Shopping prices are for normal 1 GP, for expensive 2 GP, and for cheap 7 SP.
Yeah, give me a moment.
Just wonder.
Assuming they even sell them at all.
Exactly, yeah.
No glass bottles.
Bottles? Just make something big?
Bottles, yes. Jars.
Yeah, you can make big batches.
But they're expensive, by the way. So.
Bottles is expensive 3 gold.
Yeah. They have more like clay stuff. They have a bunch, you know.
Yeah, sure. No, that's fine.
Earthenware, that's the name for it.
Yeah. Pots and jars and stuff.
Yeah.
No worries. I'll make the one last until we're maybe at the capital. Maybe they'll have glassware there. I'm just thinking if I need to brew any more potions, then I've only got one.
That's too bad.
So,
I haven't drank any of the potions recently, so I don't have any empty bottles. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. we're not short, so it's.
Oh, I do have one. I do have one of the mind reading potions I drank a while ago. It should be somewhere in the bag.
Assuming you kept it.
I mean, I don't really throw out much. I am very much a hoarder.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if you can dig that out, that would be good. At least then that's 2. So.
Just need to rummage a bit.
But they do have rations.
So,
Rations.
your expertise-wise, do we need rations if we're going by the capital anyways? Like, do we need something?
I can produce berries anyway. Whether you want to eat them or not is another question.
It's not necessarily the want, it's more the nutrition sense, which I'm always hesitating about. Of continuous use.
The berries provide all the nutrition you need for a day. They are... It's like eating a full day's worth of food, as far as your body is concerned.
Has that been tested?
Yes, because that's why I was not eating any of your rations for a while, and you were getting worried about me not eating food.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was on berries for days at a time.
Okay.
And I was fine.
So. Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
I trust your expertise. Here you go, the bottle. And I'll give you... I was rummaging meanwhile.
Thank you kindly. I'll chuck that onto my sheet.
Alright, so yeah, we don't need very much rations. I have 22 portions left, and that should be just fine. We have, very capable hunters in our group so far, so we should be fine even without the berries.
Yeah, I mean, I can forage food as we walk anyway, so that's not a problem either, really.
Mm-hmm. No. Alright.
Yeah,
anything else you wanted to check out?
I don't think food's a particular issue.
No.
Nothing I'm interested in, no.
Alright. So it seems to be a afternoon of lazing about.
Yeah. Head back to the tavern, I guess. Just make sure we don't miss the Lord.
Oh, it was said that he came in the evening, or something like that. Anyway, so we should have time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what, just after midday still? Or
Yeah.
we've
2
been
hours
here
after
about...
midday. Yeah.
Okay,
We should have plenty of
we've been
time.
here a couple of hours, so... yeah, I imagine Cassius is probably done with his beard shaving at the moment.
Yes.
Probably already in the tavern.
Yes.
Reconvene in the tavern, yeah. Makes the most sense.
Yeah. Alright.
It's basically a few simple tables. Not a tiny bit bigger than Sunset Hill Tavern that had no name.
Oh yeah, we named that too. I don't remember what it was, but
You
we
did
named
name
it.
it, yes. You
We
named
did
it.
name it in the end because
But
I made a wooden sign for it.
This one has a few tables, and it's like very simple ale. That's all they have. They have ale.
Does this inn have a name?
No, it doesn't.
Can I...
Well.
I vaguely remember partly what I wanted to do. You guys sit tight, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just gonna go and see if I can find some wood.
I just got your mail, Mark.
I just take out my weaving kit.
Oh god, there she goes again.
Exactly. I'll be back in a minute. Vieira's basically gonna dart out of the tavern
I
towards
do
the tree
hope
line.
you're ordering ale and paying for it.
Oh, for sure. I order for everyone. Even
Awesome.
for Viera that now darts out, so...
I'll be back. I'm just gonna see if I can go to the tree line and pick up. I'm looking to make a panther figurine out of the pine wood.
Roll me a survival check. It takes you a while to find a good piece of wood that's like not too dry, not too wet.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say you look for a while.
Okay. I look for as long as it takes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You look for a while. About half an hour, and then you find one.
And then I'll head back.
This
Warm
sheet
ale on the table.
The sheet doesn't have ale on it, or beer, or something that looks like it. Like, who the fuck drinks coffee, fruit, or milk?
What? No, it's just ale.
Yeah, but how much is ale?
It's the normal cheap price. Cheap price for ale.
That's the thing. Is that on the sheet?
Oh my god, let me
I don't-
find the
I don't
normal
think it's
pri-
on the sheet.
Yes, it's fine. So I find it. I'll find it. Player's handbook. Equipment. Fences. No, that's not it. Where is it? Mug of ale, 4 copper.
Amazing.
Do we even have coins that small in denomination?
Yes,
do.
I've been
Shush.
throwing copper at him.
I've been farming them from Samira, so you know.
Yeah. So the swear jar is paying for our drinks. I like
Yep.
it.
That's
You're welcome.
That's the whole point. Yeah, so I ordered 4 ales.
You can get some a hunk of cheese as well and fresh loaf.
Oh, for sure.
They don't cook, but they have like, you know, cold cuts and stuff like that.
I'm just gonna give them like 30 copper and just be done with it. Something
Okay.
like that.
So free silver.
I just pay in coppers.
Okay. You even have 30 coppers.
Yeah, I have a bunch of coppers on me.
Okay, fair. I'm just checking.
Like, I can just throw them out there at people apparently.
You'll have the usual small talk of like, hey, where you from, where you going, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just like from Northgate to Windrock. That's it. It's traveling.
Yeah, you'll get the comment that you would expect that like they don't see many folk from Northgate around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just got permission to travel. Don't delve too deeply into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the shopping sheet doesn't have any alcoholic drinks on it.
Nope.
Strange.
They do have milk apparently, so there's that.
And quote unquote wine and the non-alcoholic.
Yeah, so basically just chilling in the tavern, I guess. In the
Yeah.
drinking hall.
Layla seems very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 8 hours finishing up my training.
8 hours?
8 hours.
No, not 8, 3 hours. 3
Okay.
hours. Sorry. No,
Wow. When Vieira comes back, you're 2 hours into it. Vieira, you come
Mhm.
back.
I'm back.
Layla has drunk your ale in the meantime.
Oh, I was looking forward to that.
I mean, in 2 hours I've ordered more, so there you go.
Oh no, you were waiting for an hour, so yeah.
Yeah, come on,
2 hours
Yeah.
later, so yeah, at least one another round.
at least.
Vera comes back into the tavern carrying what appears to be a lump of wood.
Is that what you were missing? Forgetting?
No,
Piece of
this
wood.
isn't what I was forgetting.
Layla
This
snorts
is
and
just
kind of
something
like
else.
snorts spurts beer when Vieira comes in. At that.
Okay.
What, you think it's funny that I went out to get some wood? Raised eyebrow.
Yes. I find it hilarious.
Normally what you go into town for. No.
Shooting against at Cassius.
Unless
Laughing.
you don't want anyone to see, in which case you go out of town.
Bad girl. I like
Face
it.
palming.
Well, I left them pining, so
Oh.
I'll leave it at that.
Boo!
Boo.
But yeah,
Layla is
no,
laughing.
It's just for me to practice some woodcraft. I'm gonna see if I can craft something good enough to be enchanted.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
I figure I start small, and I know a spell that allows me to enlarge it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna see if I can animate it.
Ooh. Fun. You going to try it like my way I explained it, or like Giuseppe's way?
Honestly, I have no idea right now. Right now, I'm trying to carve a piece of wood that's good enough to be enchanted. Assuming I succeed at that, I will then worry about the next step.
Most of
and-
this was instinctual anyway, so just go wild. Just go
Yeah,
ham.
it'll probably be with the Giuseppe's help once he is, of course, returned.
Layla will be like, Giuseppe. His name is Giuseppe.
Joseph,
Giuseppe.
Jeremiah.
Oh.
Grape juice. There you go. Done.
That's
Layla's just
no.
shaking her head.
His name is Grape Juice.
Yeah,
I
that's his
will-
nickname. He told me.
You are all
Oh, okay.
terrible people. And she just like leans back with a grin and keeps sipping at the ale.
What can I say? I'm not used to strange languages. I only speak Common and Elven and Sylvan and
She raises an
Yeah.
eyebrow.
Definitely not strange languages. All right.
Not at all. Very much only a.
they're mostly languages that don't have a written form apart from Common. But then I was never interested in learning how to write that because nobody near me needed to write it.
So you're saying you're very good at pronunciations?
No, I'm good at speaking 3 other languages that don't involve names in foreign languages. That's
Huh.
what I'm saying. How many languages do you speak?
Me?
Mhm.
Only the 2. Very much a basic girl there.
A 5.
5? What languages do you actually speak? Now I'm curious.
Well, common.
Common, obviously.
Yeah. Celestial.
Yeah, you of course had to go after my style. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No individual thought in that
Well,
head.
but here it's a little bit like it kind of like got rearranged in my head,
Mhm.
but also Abyssal and Infernal, but that is one language, so I guess it's one less.
Oh, you lost one.
So fiendish, so technically, I guess.
Finnish, yeah.
That's
No. Mhm.
that's unfortunate in a way.
And
And
Orcish.
fortunate in another, because that means you don't have to go through the nuances of whether it's one or the other.
Layla
That's
raises
easy.
both eyebrow. Orcish, really? Wow.
Yep.
She tells
Hey.
she says something in Orcish, which goes along the lines of, how far does it go? How good are you at it?
And I answer back in Orcish, good enough.
I'm just going to point out that, and I'm visibly saying this too, my ears are heckled and my hair is pretty much standing up right now.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Ah,
The same kind of thing why I don't really speak Finnish. Out
Yeah,
loud.
yeah. I mean, Fiendish is a little bit of a harsh guttural
Layla,
language, but
Layla looks between the two of you. Like, did I miss anything? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
let's say we have history with specific races, and Orcish is not something I enjoy listening to. And for Samira, she doesn't enjoy listening to Fiendish.
Well, fair enough. I mean, sure.
the Orcish is something I picked up relatively early, because in my town or city, there was actually a bunch of half orcs. As far as I know, there was like before in the city where I'm from, there used to be some kind of like patriarchy of kind of priestly, wizardly folks. They were pretty bad, and they had a very tight grip on the city. And at some point, they did manage to piss off some orcs who came into said city. Got rid of those guys, but then they have been like the ruling council. Like I think it's like a half orc in charge, but they're pretty like decent. They're better than what was there before, at least from what I've heard. I just know
At
them
least
as
they didn't replace and become what they replaced, so...
No, I mean, like, it was pretty, like, they had a tight grip on most of things. It's, okay, it had a pretty decent-sized underbelly. It's a port town anyway, so there was a bunch of smuggling.
Trading and smuggling was quite a thing, I guess.
Bunch, and there's thieves everywhere. There's orphans, quite a lot, who were in league with the thieves. But, otherwise, they did pretty well. Like, they weren't just, like, rampaging around. They actually settled. It's like, so we have, like, a bunch of my friends were half Orcish, or they had some Orcish blood in them. So you just have to pick it up quite quickly.
Now I'm calling bullshit. You used the word friends.
Hey. I make a lot of friends.
Didn't you say that you moved, used, abused, and moved on again?
I mean, there's
your general motive.
There's friends and there's friends, right? So
Layla
they
nods
were
in agreement.
they were
Viera
friends.
shakes her head in confusion.
They were friends for as long as you had something
mean
to do together, or you.
Associates?
No, like no, but
Business
like
partners?
no, but like you see me go around, right? Like you see me in bars in these kind of settings. I make friends. That's what I do.
Layla nods like you generally don't get along well with people if you're calling them acquaintances to their face.
Like for all intents and purposes, we were friends, but then we were not.
What do you mean were?
Like it's not a closer connection. Like it's just that surface level. But you make it seem like it's not surface level. That's how you get them.
You
So
drink
you're
with
being
them,
friendly.
you laugh with them, you don't share your pain and suffering with them.
Exactly. That's what you keep bottled up inside until it explodes.
Layla grins.
Violently, no doubt.
Yeah. No, but like yeah, so
Okay.
plenty of people to be friendly with because you never know who you might need to rely on. And then once you're done with them, you move on, and you never let anyone hear from you ever again. Ta-da!
Well, I guess
a way.
they don't class you as anything other than someone who just left and went somewhere else. So if you come across them again in a bad situation, they might be more inclined to not kill you.
Oh, well, of course,
doesn't
it's
come out like-
mutually beneficial relationships like that. It's not like you're just taking and not giving anything back. It's just you're not
Well.
very close.
If they were like beneficial in the broad sense, you get more than you give.
And also, those
That's
are the
okay.
kinds of friends I wouldn't necessarily trust my life in.
Oh, for sure not. But to have a drink with and to get
Oh,
a
yeah.
conversation in the town, like that's fine.
Get
And then it
information,
probably-
get a favor, nothing big, of course.
Nothing huge.
No. Hey, can you introduce me to the guy? Yeah, sure. Well, I'll introduce you to this one guy. It's that kind of friendship. It's very
casual mates,
superficial,
yeah.
but it's what it is. You cannot be close friends with everyone.
No.
Not ever.
Viera has a raised eyebrow at Samira at the word mates.
Oh, it's not in that sense. Like, mates is not a word for friends. Like, classmates and such things. Like, people you are around, like workmates. It's like classmates, workmates. It's like shortened version of people you're around in your life, like, for a long period of time next to each other. Doesn't mean you're, like, friends.
Will grin and like lean into Cass as well. I mean, sometimes it's friends with benefits.
True.
But it's more like a shortened abbreviation of like workmates, classmates sort of thing, not like the mating mate thing.
Sometimes we're mating.
They're not mutually exclusive.
This all
You sound
sounds-
like you're not helping Samira's point at all.
This sounds like you're just trying to be obfuscating for the sake of being obfuscating.
No, like for the ones that were in the know, they were know
I get
exactly
it.
what's up. But
I know both what a mate is and what a friend with benefits is.
Leon, oh, that was a joke. Look, guys, she's joking.
I may almost be the youngest, but I have some experience.
How old
I was
are
being
you,
truthful
actually?
with my explanation of how I understood mates. Just being honest here.
All good.
How old
What did
are you,
say,
actually?
Nana? Old enough. You should know better than to ask a lady her age.
Well, I always thought that your kind doesn't really care.
We don't. Ultimately, it's just a number.
Mm.
A number that will be increasing sometime soon.
Oh, you having a birthday coming up?
Honestly, I have no idea. Compared to what was when in our world, it should have been a while ago, I'm guessing.
Huh.
But I've
You know
basically
roughly
just
the
gone.
month?
Well, I know when it was.
When
in
was
our
it?
World. It was Flammable. If you're going by months.
Sorry, what one again?
Flammable?
Flammable. Flame roll.
Yep.
That was quite some time ago, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. I'll note it for next time. What day?
The last day of the month, if you're going by human calendars.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the information. I will note that down.
So when is Flammable as far as this world is concerned? Because I was just going to say the end of heat, because that seems to be the end of summer. And Flammable was the end of summer.
Well, I'd have to think forward some time. Give me a second. She actually put us aside her weird kid and just studies and things for a second, just blankly staring in the air.
Honestly, not that important.
I make the sound of like hay bills drifting by.
Here's the question: did Cassis ever tell Layla how old he is?
There's the thing, Cassis doesn't really know how old he is.
Yeah, okay, but
he doesn't give a fuck.
did the conversation ever come up, you think? Or do you remember, or whether we talked about it? I'm like trying to remember. I'm not remembering.
Probably.
I'm having Friday night brain. Oh my god.
Probably they talk a lot, so probably she knows the rough estimation that he gives.
Well, then he would know that she's 25.
All right.
If I continue, I don't know the exact day, and I just have an estimate. But going by months, like continuing on date-wise, not jumping ahead or something like that, it would be sometime in last night, maybe. I keep track of days.
Well, then happy birthday! Let's drink to that, and Layla orders more ale.
What? Last light? We're currently in heat.
Oh no! Oh, sorry. I thought last night.
Last light.
Last light.
Wow. I also understood last night. Anyway, happy birthday!
I think some people have been into the ale a little bit too heavily. Crikey. Maybe it's a good thing we're not making a deal today.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, we're also not in heat, we're in harvest. I'll have you know.
I'll keep track on it and let you know when it's coming up again, okay?
Are we? Yeah, we are. I've got
We are in
heat
harvest.
written down on my notes. Tisk, tisk.
Yeah, with harvest.
So if you're keeping track, Samira.
Mm-hmm.
How
When's your
old are
birthday?
you?
Yeah.
Well, I get it that you're the oldest here.
It's a way to say it, yes.
I didn't call you a crone. I'm just saying you're the oldest. Somebody's gonna be the oldest always.
Well, if you guys remember, actually, before we arrived to Tucson, when we were still on our ship track, I actually had my birthday, right? So I turned 34 then.
Oh yeah, so you are the oldest.
Yeah.
Not by much.
I mean, 9 years older than I am.
Yeah. I guess so.
Little squinted Viera.
Yes.
Nothing.
You think your random guile is going to get me to reveal how old I am? That'd be ridiculous.
My random guile is squinting. Wow, like you give me way too much credit. If I could make people talk by squinting at them, well, I guess I could some.
You're right. Samira is around about 9 years older than you are. Is that
Amazing.
what you wanted to hear?
You can calculate, you can count. It's wow.
Don't even need to count. I just repeated what you said.
Yeah, good. Finger guns.
Hey, I'm practicing.
Grinning.
I'm always practicing language.
Also important for all those names you need to remember.
Yeah.
That she doesn't remember. Like, Giuseppe.
I remember his name. I just never remember how to pronounce it. That's two different things.
It's pronounced Giuseppe.
Giuseppe.
There you go.
I won't remember the next time I say it, so there's no point.
There is really no point.
Little piggy will be heartbroken.
No, he won't. He'll be glad that I remembered his name. At all.
I think you give yourself too much credit there.
I would be happy if somebody got my name even remotely correct and I hadn't seen them for several weeks and I'd been turned into a pig. So maybe that's a different perspective on things. After all,
No, man, I'm dying to know what happened to them and what they saw and how it's been and if they even remember anything.
My guess is that they will remember some of it, but not all of it.
Well, we shall see. Never knew anyone who got carried away by the wild hunt.
Yeah. Based on what Kulan said, though, some people do it on purpose.
Also, nobody said anything, and she kind of like takes Cassis's chin between her fingers, like, look, clean shave.
Looks pretty good.
Good work.
Yeah, we should consider a change of profession.
No. I'm fine with what I'm doing, thank you very much.
But wait, Vera, you said that Kulan? Some people join on purpose?
Well, she elected to go to the Wild Hunt, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because she wanted to experience it, so presumably that means they do remember.
Interesting.
It's going to be like anything that you do in life, really. You're never going to remember everything that you did in a 4-week time period, but you'll remember the highlights and the lowlights, won't you? So,
and imagine what the highlights would be of being a pig, honestly.
Won't educate you on anything to do with animal husbandry to do with pigs, but there are definite highlights. I can point that out. And definite lowlights, particularly if you're a piggy in a butcher shop.
Yeah. I can imagine
around
the lowlights.
This time, Samira, a weasel comes splitting into the tavern and climbs into your lap. Followed some time after that by Nimrod coming in.
We have a spy.
Screech, screech, screech.
It sniffs at the ale. It's doing the weasel thing where it's like moving all over the place, looking, sniffing.
Yeah, like, I'm careful to let it sniff as it wants, but
then looking down to where Abraff
letting him
is,
drown.
and then sniffing there. Abraff just like raises his head.
Is anybody paying Abraff any attention at all?
No. I mean, they looked at him, but they seem to be used to shifters.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And he comes in and kind of like stands there awkwardly for a moment, and like Layla is the one who waves him over and like, take a seat, take a seat.
I'll order an ale for him.
He will refuse and just get a mug of water.
At that point, I pick my weaving back up and ask, just meeting with the pack went okay?
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Nods.
Everything all right? That's 5 less words than you normally use.
There's nothing to say. They saw me, I saw them. I let them know. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Just to update you, the four of us have been talking, and we'd like to make a detour to the capital still, instead of just straight away going to Hollowstone, if that's okay.
What? You have to slow down and talk slowly.
Sorry. The four of us have been talking about making a detour to the capital instead of straight going to Hollowstone.
All
Is
right.
that gonna be okay for you?
I mean, if you're going to the capital, then you can find other guides who can take you to Hollowstone. There's caravans going between the two places.
Alright, so you'll leave us at the capital then?
Well, you don't really need somebody who takes you across land then.
Okay.
Alright. Interesting.
I take it you don't like the capital.
It's a big city, even bigger than Northgate.
Doesn't answer the question though.
It's a lot of people. I don't like people.
Would you consider waiting outside the capital for us to come back out?
And no reason for me to wait. You can easily find a caravan that goes to Hollowstone from the capital.
So there's no more interest on coincidence versus meant to be sort of thing? Or you're just continuing using and that's it? The capital is out?
Look, I made an offer. We don't have a fixed agreement.
Of course.
Nope.
I'm not your mate. I'm a guard. I'm a guide. I'm guiding. Once we get to the capital, there's not really anything for me to guide any longer. I also don't have any interest to stay away from, well, my own lands indefinitely. Sure, there's an interest, but, you know, if you're gonna make detours, then you can find another guide. There's plenty of caravans going between the capital and Hollowstone. He shrugs, downs the water, goes like, thank you for the water, and then reaches out for the weasel, picks it up, and then goes out again.
Okay. What the fuck was that all about?
Well, that was abrupt.
Yeah. I don't know what exactly scared him off about the capital, but maybe it was just the people.
I get the feeling it wasn't, but alright.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna mince words or anything. I don't really care. He's been guiding us for so long, but it looks like you are a little bit closer to him, Samira. So, if you prefer sticking with him, we can go directly. I don't care so much about the capital either.
I mean, what was the plan with Hollowstone anyway? I know we were going there to have a look at the bones, and potentially, maybe, have a look at the tunnels.
Mostly the tunnels, right? Like, what's the bones? The bones ain't gonna...
The bones is just a cool thing, but mostly the tunnels.
In the meantime, we're also just looking for the researchers, and we still don't
Yeah.
have any clue about where they are, so... Honestly, I feel like we're a little bit aimless. And
That's true. Yeah,
this
we
plan
do.
of making some kind of deal with
Layla
trade
will
with
shrug. Well, if we're looking for the researchers, that's the direction they went into. They didn't go for the capitals.
So then we just go towards Hollowstone, and if we need to make some kind of trade deal, try to do it from here. If we can't do it from here directly, we go to Hollowstone, and we can go to the capital later. I think if we just want to set our eyes straight, and also considering what might be behind us, tarrying too long just for tarrying doesn't sound like a good idea.
That's true.
So I wasn't going to say much because honestly, I know nothing about these lands and I prefer capitals anyway, but in the end, if the researchers are close to there, we need some kind of resolution from that shit before we can move on.
That's the thing though, I mean, it's all good and well with the researchers being close to there, but if they're still in animal form, there's sod all we can do about it.
I mean, maybe then we're closer to when they jump, like, get out, or... It at least brings us closer to where they are. If we diverge to the capital, who's gonna say that, nah, I mean, even if we go there now, who's gonna say that they're gonna stay around that area?
Look,
That's just the last information.
folks, like, just... Okay, let's talk. You just seem to be aimlessly swapping locations you want to go to. What is actually the point of going anywhere? I kind of got the Hollowstone part, but like, okay, going to the capital city of Ireland to maybe establish a trade, maybe not, on the off chance, who knows?
The thing is that we don't want to be seen by people from Hohir while there's potentially still people missing from the whole militia thing.
I generally doubt that there will be people from Hohir. You saw how they respond.
Yes.
I'm a little bit more worried about another person with an organization.
True, that is as well. Like, you brought it up just now, I didn't think of that. I'm so and we
folks,
shouldn't
I also
dally
want to
around.
remind you that we are having probably the big booby blonde bimbo following us.
That's
exactly how I was referring to.
Yeah. You said we shouldn't go mindlessly dallying around because of her, so I forgot, and I agree, yeah.
So I think we should just try to make our trade deal here, and if not possible, fine, we'll figure something out later, right?
Yeah.
I also want to point out that you have serious blacksmiths in Hohir who have fuel for blacksmiths. They probably have in-country trade for that already. You don't have to, like, drag things from all the way from Guyland. The blacksmiths in Hohir clearly fuel their whatever. I'm not a blacksmith, but they clearly manage without trading with Guyland.
But is it mountain pine?
I mean, they make steel. They have something that makes it hot enough, I assume.
I don't know. I think I'm more on the side of just going towards Hollowstone.
Vera, what do you think?
We aren't going to achieve anything at Hollowstone until the research is around, so I don't see what the rush is, personally.
We could see if we can get more information if the thing at Hollowstone is even at all something.
I had the impression that we're going to see if we can actually still get to the mantle there or not.
Yeah.
And if not, then we're not gonna go down there. But we're not gonna find out until we go there, and we're certainly gonna find out in the capital city. This is the entire reason why I agreed to actually even making this trip.
I mean, it's not exactly immediately going down into the underhole or whatever. There's a tribe of there that should have some information that we could ask.
I'm all supportive, and whatever the three of you decide, I'm happy to help, but I would also prefer if it would stop changing our mind constantly and actually have a goal.
I wouldn't say we're changing our mind. We're considering. Right?
But the
And that's
plan
one of
was
the
always
things
to
that
go to
offer.
Hollowstone, but whether we take a stop before we get there or not is not really
Well,
that big a deal.
I don't care if we lose one guide and replace it with another guide. If there's caravans going, hey, the more the merrier.
True.
Sounds like a caravan would be a safer way to travel anyway.
I mean, and I didn't exactly feel unsafe so far.
Really? Being attacked by Bimbo and Black Goo?
Thing is that with a caravan, there's other people also around that will be collateral.
There's that.
There is that.
And I don't necessarily want to risk Misha taking up collateral.
With
That you seem to have
Nimrod,
picked up before everywhere.
with Nimrod, we have also some kind of, okay, I'm not sure how far the protection reaches. They're maybe not stepping in, but they might also not be happy about Bimbo landing in their lands again. The shifters. The Deathly.
Well, we can hardly control that.
No, we can't. But the same way that we cannot control people in a caravan.
I mean, if
They're
we're
gonna
going
be
by
closer.
what we've told the deity, we told them we'd secure this artifact and leave, and we're doing the complete opposite of that. So, if you want to go by honouring that agreement, we should really be heading for Northgate and exiting the country.
Well, getting the research is part of securing the artifact.
We at no point mentioned them at all.
Well, I mean, we also didn't say we would leave Guyland. I don't know if they consider leaving as in leaving that part of...
Well, we said we would leave their lands.
But you forgot that their lands were the lands we were there, of that tribe.
Sure.
No. Okay.
So what are we deciding on?
I vote directly to Hollowstone, just because that was the original goal. And even though I don't mind seeing the capital, it's just a quicker route. And
We can do the capital on the way back. If there's
most-
caravans between the two cities, we can also find a caravan back to the capital.
I just, at this point, I just want to just get this conversation
Or,
done.
again, we just go to the capital and it's like, okay, bye guide. Find another guide.
Mhm.
Not like the
so-
first time I'm changing guides between cities.
No.
Although Samira doesn't look too happy about that. Want to talk about it, girl?
I mean, it's not necessarily something that I insist on continuing to have him as a guide, but he's interesting. Yes, for me. Especially not even just yeah.
I'm
Because of
gonna
that connection.
insight check the word interesting.
Yeah, it's like
And the
Layla on the inside
connotations of
check.
that.
Like Dale
Because
doesn't even
there's been
have
something fishy. I'm fucking using my fate point to reroll it.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Roll. I don't even know what you're rolling.
Yeah,
You
I
just
don't have
ro-
no. Okay. What the fuck am I?
Are you trying to hide it?
Not necessarily.
Well, yeah, think about it and then roll me in private deception or persuasion. Or even performance. If in doubt, a general charisma check. Okay. So what is there to see actually?
She's being truthful that she is interested. It's a very broad word, but there's multiple different ways she can be meaning it. Not just interested, like she mentioned, interested through the connection, but as well as
Interested in him as a person.
yeah, is in a person. And you guys have seen her previously, charmed basically by his weird, by his awkwardness. She hasn't hid that.
she was also very emotional in defending the silver thing and all that. Like, if you put it in a context,
Yeah, Vera's
blatantly
putting
obvious.
all of that together as a 2 + 2
Like,
+ 2
Layla
=
is not
7.
even commenting. She's just like having a small smirk and just sipping at her ale and looking into a different direction, not saying anything.
So what?
Cassius knows enough about Layla to, even if he cannot read Samira, he can read Layla.
So while I'm not excited about, leaving him behind, if you guys want to go to the capital, I'll stick with you guys, of course.
Now, come on, you have your own opinion, right? If that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. Clear. Like.
Okay, we can head to Hollowstone. Like.
And then we can
We
go to the
said
capital
we can
later.
we might be coming to the capital to come back anyway, because that might be the fastest way back to Tuzan if whatever the next thing we need is in that direction. We don't know.
Yeah, and then we can do our your trade thing, and you can be happy because we stayed. Like, you don't have to adjust.
Well, we can also speak to the Gorgons about securing trade routes as well, and that might be more beneficial to go through their network.
Layla downs the ale and slams the mug down. I want to see the dragon.
Okay.
Okay.
Insight check. Is she drunk yet?
No, she's not. You can get it off your passive normally. She's not drunk.
Okay.
She's just having fun.
I guess Hollowstone it is.
Yay, more time with Nimrod. He was so conversational.
That doesn't seem right for how you've been behaving so far, but okay, I'll take that.
I mean, he did give me this thing that leaves, so I'm good.
I'll see if I can find him outside then to let him know. I'll be right back.
Why didn't you just send him a message?
He doesn't like that.
Oh, weird. He doesn't like the creepy voice in his head?
Shut up.
Surprise?
Just shut
Layla
up.
elbows Cassius once Samira is out.
Just go and find him.
Yeah, I'm going outside.
Hey.
Elbow, eyebrow wiggle.
No,
do you two need a private room?
It's about Samira, but not really in that way. I don't know if she told you, but actually that's not my place to say anything about. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
You can still have a crush.
Well,
Yeah, I guess so.
It doesn't even have to be that. She could just be genuinely interested in him as a person.
And that's part of having a crush, yes.
Maybe she just wants to make mates,
It's
friends.
part of having a crush. It's not necessarily a crush, though.
It's a platonic crush.
Maybe she just wants a very, very big hug from the big bad wolf. Or the fluffy wolf. Well, he's very fluffy.
Yeah, whatever votes are about.
Are you jealous?
I mean,
I'm jealous?
I'd call the weasel fluffy, not the big bad wolf. Personally, but
I call neither of them fluffy.
I guess.
Anyway, in the meantime, Samira finds Nimrod at the, what do you call it? The not
Pier?
dock? Pier, yes.
Pier. You're welcome.
With his feet, like he has taken off his boots and his feet are in the water.
I just clear my throat. Mind if I sit?
He shrugs.
I just, I forgot how one sits with legs between. Okay.
Cross legs.
Fucking what? Cross legs, exactly. Sits with crossed legs. We've been, I think you've picked up on it since we've changed directions a couple of times, but we are a bit of an indecisive bunch.
He shrugs again.
So, after, after kind of realizing that we have been very much just bumbling around without a goal fully, We talked it over again, and we are focusing straight on to Hollowstone after all. I'm just once again pulling you back into the other direction, so that's not really the best, but
Do I have any say in that? Maybe?
if you wanna. I mean, it's always been your decision if you wanna accompany us, be our guide. That's always been open.
I did say I would guide you. If you're going cross country, you need a guide. There is nobody. The wolves in the forest are not gonna guide you. They're not the type.
I mean, if you want to jump ship, then just say so. We have to go to the capital then.
I just don't appreciate it being taken for granted and you changing your mind and expecting I will follow along.
Yeah, that was a bit sucky. Sorry. Like I said, we are a very indecisive bunch, and it was a snap decision that... Yeah.
It's nice coming out here. Haven't done that in a while. But again, do not appreciate, things.
Of course. I get that. Try to not make it happen again. Yeah, we've talked it over, and we do have some ideas for after Hollowstone. It's you only agree to accompany us to there, so it's up to you from that point. In general, if you want to continue on.
I'll make my decision when we get there. That's on me.
Yeah. By the way, sorry for putting you on the spot back in there. Bit. I was just surprised.
Yeah, I'm not fond of being treated like a, lapdog who is expected to sit when told to sit and go fetch when told to fetch.
No, that was not at all my intention. No, not at all. Yeah.
He kind of rubs his neck.
The others have pointed out that I'm a bit too quick to follow along with other ideas, so I should have,
He shrugs.
Choking up.
So, it's a nice pond.
It is.
There's some fish in there. They look tasty.
You fish?
Well, if I have a fishing rod. Don't have a fishing rod.
I think a fishing rod is actually one of the only things I do not have in all of my menagerie of pockets.
He kind of looks around. There were some kids that were fishing.
Well,
I didn't eat fish in a while. I mean, pond fish.
Yeah, sweetwater fish has been a while for me too. It's mostly been saltwater. That's true. I wouldn't mind.
Go find the children?
No, I wouldn't mind doing that, yeah. Would be a nice quiet evening.
Pretty sure they will give me the fishing rod if I snarl at them.
You don't have to scare children to get... But why not? Why the fuck not? I want to see that happen. Let's go. Let's see how fast the little legs can run.
Yeah, so you will spend like half an hour tracking down some children with fishing rods.
Mm-hmm. And we can do a break
He will actually ask them nicely.
Aww. He asked them nicely. Okay,
He's actually really sweet with children, surprisingly. If you watch him talk to them, he's actually getting along better with kids than with grown-ups.
That's very sweet.
That explains so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We taking a break?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to take the break. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
then
please.
we're taking a break now.
Is Arbel moving in the break?
Yes.
Alrighty.
I had to think about it for a while.
Glad to hear
Okay.
that you came to a decision.
So let me skip one more hour. Okay, so around 5 is when you start hearing a whole bunch of commotion outside. Well, not Samira, because Samira. Well, actually, yes, because you're sitting at the pier, right, fishing.
Yeah, I would have sent a sending towards, let's say, Cassius to let him know that
You
I'm
can
back here
literally
with
walk
Nimrod.
15 feet and like tell them in person. It's like the village is
That'd
really
be
small.
ridiculous. She's
Yeah.
gonna send a
She's
sending
gonna send a
message.
sending.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be.
Okay, you send a sending. What do you send to Cassius?
Staying at the pier right now. Staying at the pier right now. Basically fishing with Nimrod. If you need me, call me.
I just respond by thinking, because that's this one.
Good job.
And I say, alright, have fun in your corner, brooding corner, pier, whatever. See you later.
Yeah, you get an elbow from Lila.
Just look proud of myself. Oh, Samira's at the pier, by the way. She let
Oh,
me
well,
know.
yeah, you did look like you were zoning out. Like there was no brain for a second.
There's always brain in here.
Wow. When even your own girlfriend disses you.
No, it's not dissing. It's certain moments, and she kind of like wraps her arms around him
Mm-hmm.
and gives him a kiss on the cheek, and then settles back.
I at
Spammy.
least remember how it works. This was the thinking one, not the saying
I'm
one.
glad she sent the message to you, because I wouldn't have remembered.
That's why I did it.
Yeah. It was the one that was like, if we can't see her, then we just have to think it.
I
That
do
was
have
it.
to point out that when Samira does that, you basically you get like a knock 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 at your head, and then you have to allow it because you have the mind shielding ring.
Oh, okay.
She cannot just talk into your head.
Mhm.
Like you get the prodding of the spell, and then you have to like willingly let it through.
Open the door. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, if
so-
you're ever mad enough at her, you could totally block that and don't listen to her at all.
Nice. Amazing. I'm going to use that. Never mind.
But yeah, that was overseen. So anyway, around 5, Samira with Nimrod, because he's sitting at the pier, you would notice it sooner because they're coming down the road right over the hill, like a whole bunch of like farming folk, right? And they're joking with each other and laughing, and they look merry, you know. And some of them are pulling carts, and some carts are being pulled by animals, like with basically like wheat crops like stacked up. And there's also some women following them. And it just looks like a very merry party. Then the procession basically splits up into the few who will walk into the tavern, and people who are just going home to their families. And they like pat each other, hug each other. You know, it looks very merry. By the time they reach the tavern, you would hear them on the inside in the tavern as well. You guys were inside, Cassius and Viera. And then a few moments later, you have like a whole bunch of people stepping in and going, "Hey!" into the owner and greeting. And then it will be one man who looks very casual. You basically just notice by the fact that his clothing is slightly better quality, but it's also very casual still. This man stepping up to you, like first eyeing you curiously, right? And then he will step up to you. Oh, come on. Copy image address. No, that's not what I wanted to do.
You didn't want to roll a d10.
There. And he will step up to you. And like glancing over the poor No, sorry, 3 of you. Sorry, because Samira's outside.
4 of us, because Ibrath is there.
Yeah, he will give the cat a glance, you know, and then basically look at all of you and then give you nods like, "Good evening."
Good evening. You must
Visitors.
be the... Yeah. Yes, we just arrived into town today. And actually, if you're not too busy, we would like to have a talk with you about possible trade negotiation.
He kind of like raises both eyebrows. Well, I mean, you're welcome for dinner. I am happy to invite new faces. You look like an interesting bunch. Bodrick is my name. And he like reaches out and gives you like a full like forearm to forearm handshake, like firm.
I just
And that's the
responded.
same. And then he will offer his hand to, you know, lady at your side and give her like, you know, he will bow down and give her a kiss on the back of the hand, and same for Viera. And then he will bow his head to the cat.
Okay, perfect. What time did you have in mind?
Well, I would say we should. You should give me some time to let my wife know so she can prepare for dinner. How about at dusk when it gets dark?
Of course.
Come by after dark. We'll be ready for you. We'll have a splendid dinner, get to know each other, and have conversations. Friendly.
All right, thank you very much for the invitation. And
Splendid. Then,
see you there.
I need to get myself ready and presentable. And he like, you know, bows his head again and basically gives everyone a wave and pats some shoulders and then leaves.
Well, that was easy.
Didn't even ask for our names.
Well, I assumed you did kind of introduce yourself when he introduced himself.
I did introduce myself, so
yeah.
I did say something. Just Cassius, but that's it.
Yeah. Like he didn't introduce himself by the full name, but like I assume like Layla at least would have like said Layla. Viera is just sitting there not saying anything.
But she didn't, so neither did I.
Layla said Layla. It's Friday. I'm not describing every tiny detail.
Okay.
So I will assume that if Layla said Layla and if Viera would then say Viera, that she did say that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we have our invitation. Actually, do you guys think we should bring something?
It's only polite as a guest to bring
right.
a token. But you've got how many bottles of rum in the backpack?
We have...
Given that they only serve ale in the inn, they probably haven't had rum in a while. Or at all. Although rum's a bit of a dicey subject. Some people like it, some people don't. So
we'll have to check with Samira. She knows better.
didn't we have like 1.5 bottles of wine still?
I'm not sure anymore. Some of it might have been used.
Okay.
As far as I remember, the wine is gone. There's rum left. The good rum is also gone. Yeah.
I take it the gourd rum is gone too. From the Here is Money.
Oh, that's long gone. Yeah, that was the good rum.
Okay.
So we just have rum.
Okay.
I guess it's good enough. I don't know.
You'll have to look through all the bags once Samira's back. Assuming she hasn't eloped.
I'll go find her and look here.
Layla is like chuckling. He's like, do you even know what eloping is?
When two people run away together?
Get married.
Yeah.
Alright. You have a loping among your kind?
Well, I didn't live only among my kind. I did travel through human cities for like 2 months.
And you learned about the loping in those 2 months?
Overheard it in some tavern or bar, probably.
Maybe someone proposed to elope with her. I think that's it.
Certainly didn't propose
I
to
mean,
me.
those were some exciting 2 months if she learned about eloping.
Mm.
Well, like dodgy tavern rumors, aren't they? I mean, I did go through some fairly large cities on the way. Didn't like some of them. Didn't like most of them, if I'm honest.
Smells right. Get used to them.
It was the smell more than anything.
Yeah, that's what you get used to.
Yeah. Not sure I'll ever get used to it. But
You should
hen-
have gone
hence
to
why-
Westgate.
hence
Amazing.
why I set up shop in Tucson, where the streets are clean and the smells are minimal.
It's you should at least experience something like Westgate once in your life. It's
By the
like your
sounds of it,
experience.
Westgate's the one place I probably don't want to experience.
It's lovely.
It's an experience, I think is probably what you were going to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
I have a lot
I'll,
of time to venture through a lot of cities. I'm sure there'll be time.
I'm not sure anything will compare. Anyway, I will go find Samira. Cassie gets up and walks out the door to the pier, 15 feet over.
Well, it's like right there, so.
And it's a pier, so it's immediately visible.
Yeah, and they're sitting. How are they sitting? Not too close, I wager.
Well,
Both
not too
fishing?
far apart either.
And like they're sitting with like their faces towards the same water, or like the backs to each other.
Well, the same water.
Hmm.
It's like, but not on opposite sides of the pier or
Yeah,
something.
No.
I imagine like they're like at the very end of the pier to get to the deeper
Yeah,
waters.
yeah.
Okay.
There's a bucket next to Nimrod. With well, I guess they would have. Ah, fuck. I need to. What are we rolling? Survival. Okay. Let's roll survival to see if
He
we
was
have.
going to ask for some kits for things. Persuasion.
No. We have that done.
Nice. They've done that. That was probably done while you were away.
So what I'm gonna do is survival roll for it to find a bucket.
No, we need a survival check to see if they had any fish in the meantime. Oh
Ah.
my god.
Come on, roll a survival check.
Yeah,
Get on with
I'm
it.
just yeah,
D20
I'm just- yeah.
probably -5.
Nimrod is not being lucky so far.
I'm going to be unlucky too because I have disadvantage because of my training.
Yep. No fish.
So,
Yeah. As I guess we'll just walk down the pier, and he will just walk and whistle a little bit. Since he's good 6 feet away, 7 feet.
quietly or loudly?
Not quietly. No, not quietly.
Okay, so Samira will hear you.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys need me?
I just came to tell you that the Lord dropped by, and we got an invitation to come for dinner.
Okay.
And at dusk. When it
Which
gets
is
dark.
when?
When it gets dark.
When it gets dark.
You're not there, Viera. Shut up.
I just raised my shoulders soon.
No, but Nimrod will say when it gets dark.
No, it's like I said dusk when it gets dark. So
Yeah, and I always forget about what timing it gets dark here. That's gonna be in an hour or two?
raise shoulders. I presume soon. Like it's the end of the day. They're coming
Yes,
in from
it's
the
going
fields.
to be soon.
Oh,
See?
okay. So I should... Fucking hell.
You can smell it by the air. It smells different. It smells like night is coming.
Interesting.
And what does night smell like?
Like night.
Hard to put into words?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
yeah.
if you want to get ready, Rod, are you coming? I presume no.
No.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe you'll have, maybe you have better luck catching something without me here. Didn't really go that well. Yeah. So we're gonna have to get ready?
You can continue fishing.
Well, they are pretty relaxed right now. These sort of people, like, they're not really noble, so I don't really have to get ready. And I just look at Cassius.
No, but you don't need to, I'm just informing you, and you can join us if you want, or you can keep fishing. Up to you.
It's about the trades deal, right? So me and
Yeah.
Vera are investing into the shop, so it should be there, right?
Hero's coming. That's up to you. I'm just the errand boy.
Nimrod shrugs.
Look, Samir, if you want to keep fishing, keep fishing.
Yeah.
I just came to tell you that we have the invitation. We can join for dinner. Probably I will ask to stay there. I will introduce you on our, like, that you are here, that you're around. But otherwise, then I can let you know if we get some rooms, what happened, whatever.
Yeah, unless you guys really need me, then I think I'm good without having a dinner. Plus, it would be kind of rude to just pop up without letting them know beforehand to set a plate. So yeah.
If we catch fish, it's gonna be dinner.
Yeah, if the big word there is if. We haven't had luck so far.
One question, can I get the bag for a second?
Sorry, what?
Can I get the bag for a second?
Oh, sure, yeah. Just
Alright.
Yeah.
Sure. And I take out 2 bottles of rum.
Housewarming, like a gift, okay. Understand.
Yeah, we said we'll use the good rum, but
Don't group me in with the we. You were the one who drank that one.
hey, that was all us. Yeah,
Sure.
Shared responsibility.
Using
here.
the royal us here. Just be aware.
You go fishing. Have fun.
Yay.
Alright, see you later. We'll get murdered, it's your fault. Let's walk away.
Idiot. Turning back down to sit again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fishing.
Fishing.
RP during the week.
RP during the week.
Alright.
Alright. Cassius and Vieira. And
See
the
the end.
Breath.
And Layla.
And Layla, yeah.
Yeah, I'll return to the inn and basically let the others know that she's electing to stay fishing with her new best pal.
I see.
You
Any
do
Sorry.
sound
Private
jealous.
Time.
Not jealous.
Why would he be jealous? He's got you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want you to be friends with anyone else. You can have different kinds of jealousy.
You think I'm that possessive? Come on.
I mean,
Don't answer that. Nah, it's just gonna be us. Viera, you know enough about the trade deal, like exactly what you want to do. You want me to do the talking, or
yeah, I mean, the Gorgons will probably be able to supply a similar sort of network and trade deal, but whatever it is they're using for fuel probably won't be as good as this. So this is specifically for the purpose of trying to create enchanted items.
Okay.
Because it'll burn hotter, it'll create finer quality steel. And you need all the best ingredients if you're trying to craft something to enchant it. So, as far as the trade deal goes, we're looking for once a season a shipment of pine wood and pine cones from the mountain pines. Preferably in a way that doesn't harm the forest. So fallen trees, fallen pines, all that kind of stuff is preferable. And also more sustainable for them too. And yeah, basically 1 shipment a season to fuel the smithy, and it'll mean that whatever we're crafting is of a finer quality, ultimately. As for how do we get it there, probably trade from here to Windrock, and then we'll secure a ship to cargo it from Windrock to Tucson to be delivered.
Okay.
So we'll cover the trade from Windrock onwards, and we'll pay them to both collect and transport to Windrock.
To Windrock itself. Okay.
That seems like the best.
Yeah, and starting like immediately, or do we need like because we
Not
need to have set
immediately.
aside some
They're
time to
gonna
set
need
up.
time to get
Yeah.
materials together, particularly in a quantity of enough material to send to us. You are looking at quite a lot of material, so probably 2 horse cart loads worth, give or take, to give you an idea of weight. And yeah, like we can do 1 shipment and see how that goes to begin with. I think 1 shipment a season will be enough, because we're not going to be using this for everything. We're going to be using this when we're trying to craft really fine stuff, as opposed to the everyday stuff.
Okay.
But 2 cart loads is probably enough to produce 10 swords, to give you an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, is there anything else you need to know? How much are we paying?
Yeah, pricing is
It's probably up for negotiation, I suspect. That's the one area I would not know about here. I mean, I know quality of the product and what it is and how much we need, but I've no idea what people pay for that here. That's the only downside.
Never really delved into this. So
never really dealt with pricing at all when it comes to that sort of stuff. We used to, I mean, I lived in the high forest. We used to gather pine locally, so it cost us nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just never did that many bulk trade deals.
No, he sounds like he's beloved, which means he's probably fair. So I would ask him to start with a price that he thinks is fair.
Yeah, that's fine.
And if it doesn't sound like a huge amount, honestly, I wouldn't bother haggling, because I'm more interested in good quality product rather than them feel like they're being cheated and they give us shit quality stuff, which is still technically mountain pine, but you get good and bad mountain pine. I'd rather them think this is a good deal, we're going to honor it, and we're going to gather good quality stuff and not feel cheated by it. So less bothered about pricing, if I'm honest. Funds wise, we'll pay them on delivery of the first shipment. We'll obviously pay for the delivery from Windrock, so we'll arrange that. They just need to let us know somehow, or we can agree now on a time when we're going to pick up the first shipment. It's currently harvest time, so they're probably going to need a month, maybe 2, to gather that much stuff. It depends on how much effort they put into it and whether they can afford to spare anyone to gather it.
Probably depends on how much we pay.
Yeah, and if we start with them electing a fair price, they're probably going to be more inclined to spare someone to gather it. Okay. I mean, hell, they might send the kids out to gather some of it. I don't know how they work here in a nutshell. So, but we can ask that tonight over dinner.
Yeah. Okay.
Seems like the best bet. And if there's anything I think I need to jump in for, then I'll jump in with a question here or there. But for the most part, it's probably better if you do the talking.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a joint effort, but it's good to kind of like know what I'm talking about before I'm just talking. Like, I can just talk.
Yeah, of course. The emphasis is on we're interested in better quality product that's also sustainable. We don't want them chopping trees down that are gonna then deforest the area around.
I think with how they work with the deity around here, you don't have to be worried about that.
Yeah, I suspect we got nothing to worry about, but fresh pine isn't always the best pine either, so that's kind of why I don't want to encourage chopping of trees either.
Okay.
Usually better waiting for a tree to fell itself for whatever reason, age, disease, whatever, and then collecting that up essentially.
All right.
So if there's anything else specific you think you need to know, then let me know. As far as money goes, money's not really a problem. So I can arrange and pay for all that. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Fine with me. I don't have any questions now, but of course, if you're missing something, if I miss something, then just jump in.
Will do, yeah. Will do.
Okay. Yeah, and then I guess we just wait until it's
we're in the tavern, I assume, at the moment.
Yes.
I'm going to ask if there's a spare room we can borrow for a moment, just so that we can get ourselves prepared to go and meet the Lord for dinner.
No, there isn't. It's not an inn.
There isn't. Is there a nearby house we could borrow for 5 minutes just to kind of get changed rather than getting undressed in the middle of your tavern or in the middle of the street?
Well, the lady of the house will, not lady, but the woman of the house will be like, okay, yeah, you can use our private quarters, basically in the back rooms.
Thank you. I'll pay you for your trouble as well. I just don't want to go into the Lord not having bathed in a week.
He doesn't mind.
Smelling like leather, so... I'll wait for her to escort me then.
She points you literally through a door, like here's the
through a door.
Yeah,
Result. Yep, excellent. I'll see you guys in a minute. As far
There's
as
a well in the back that you can also use for water.
Yeah, just to get some water. I'll get some water. She's going to peel off her leathers and kind of... She's not going to wash them, but she's going to give herself a rinse down. And then she's going to switch into not the stupidly expensive dress, but she's going to switch into the... I mean, as far as these people are concerned, it's probably still stupidly expensive. She's got one dress that's worth about 500 gold and one that's worth like nearly 2,000 with everything added to it. So I'm just going to switch into the 500 gold.
Even
dress.
the 500 gold one.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be overdressed. Right.
Yeah, it might well be. But that's fine because it's... it's what she feels she should do in front of nobility. You two can stand out like peasants, but that's fine.
Oh, wow.
Nice try.
So yeah, Viera emerges from the back room about 20 minutes later, dressed.
Everyone stops talking and turns around to look at you.
Didn't know we were gonna go for that dress.
You can hear whispers
anything...
echo. Is that like the queen of the elves?
It's a little bit much. Just.
Well,
it's easy.
You say that, but
I mean, you look beautiful. Don't make it more. But
Oh, now don't make Layla jealous.
I'm not jealous. I'm just finding this hilarious.
it's
Well.
it's a little bit overdressed. But if you
Hey,
That's-
I spent a lot of money on this dress. I've worn it once.
that's what you do with clothes.
No, it is not.
Mm.
I spent very little money on my armor, and I've worn that an awful lot.
That's different. All right. Do you want to go like
Really
that?
Not that different. Yes, I'm going like this.
Okay.
You can be dressed like a peasant if you want, but that's up to you.
Please. I'm never dressed like a peasant. I just go into the
Mhm.
back room and just take out the armor and switch into just the fine clothes that I have, the 15 GP fine clothes. That's it.
Is this the king of the humans?
for good measure when I'm in the back room. Just
Mhm.
yeah.
Layla
Come out
doesn't do
again.
any of those things.
Fine by me. I was just more interested in having a shower or a bath because I haven't bathed in like a week and a half.
Like we were in creeks and everything.
You guys were in creeks. I was busy disassembling camps and talking to people.
Oh boy.
Layla waits
Oh,
for Cassius
boy.
to come back and be like, you know what? You make a great couple on your own and your nobility thing. Have fun. I'll see you later.
You're not joining?
No. I'm gonna
Oh,
sit
everyone's
here
flaking out.
and drinking ale and being, relaxed and not.
Isn't that
noble.
considered rude to decline the Lord's invitation? He's
Well-
probably expecting 3 of us.
You have your cat. There you go. 3 of you.
Wow.
Have fun.
Well done. Well done. Just raise my arm, just like for Vera to.
Well, my lord, I guess we're shirking the peasantry this evening.
Have fun.
Bye.
I'm sure we will. And we can exit the tavern, and then I guess it's probably close enough to dusk by now,
Yeah.
and head over to the Lord's manor. Like,
Even through the pier, I can see the procession of
Yeah,
fancy
it's like
walking.
people are just standing there and staring. Like,
And just let
jaws
out a loud
hanging
whistle.
open.
Just let a loud whistle of appreciation at them walking by.
Like, you're drawing an entire spectacle. Like, people are, like, actively, like, gathering
these
to watch
people
you.
don't get travelers very often. They've got to have something special to mark the occasion and to talk about.
They will sure have something to talk about.
I'm sure they will. Don't see it as a bad thing.
No.
Unless Bimbo arrives as we're in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Please roll initiative. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
So yeah, you make your way to the castle. You have 2 guardsmen, like, stationed at the entrance who were, like, prepared for you. They look at you warily as you arrive. They don't quite know how to treat you, but they're, like, polite, they're bowing. And
Just say good evening, and assuming if they're not giving us any kind of directions, I'm assuming someone else inside the castle is
I
going
was
to
about to finish my sentence.
Yeah, well, I got a good evening in. Tough.
They will escort you inside, one of them. So you don't have to, like, make your way in there. You're getting this, like, very keen impression, Cassius, that they probably never seen anyone dressed that finely in this castle. And you're basically being led inside, up, like, a staircase and into basically a dining hall, right? In front of, like, a big fireplace. And this is where you meet the lady of the house, who looks like this. And she greets you because she's like, hosting. But also the Lord comes in. By the way, they are dressed fine. You're overkilling it, both of you. But Vieira is like super overkilling it.
Yeah, what can I say? I don't have a fine dress. I've only got really elegant.
Yeah.
So it was that or nothing.
You can see that like she's even getting flustered because she didn't expect from the description of her husband sudden nobility in that rank.
Yep.
Yeah, shock and awe.
That was the tactic.
Queen of the elves and king of the...
They're welcoming you more or less more like parental than really nobility. You see that they're trying their best, but like they don't really know how to handle this level of what the fuck, right? But
okay.
yeah, they ask you to the table. There's like plenty of food, fresh baked bread.
Vieira nudges Cassius at some point.
Before we sit down, I will take out the bottles of rum and present them to the Lord and Lady, and as a gift. And then, before Vieira sits down, I take out the chair for her and let her sit first.
Actually, the Lord will do that because he's the
Okay.
host. Yeah.
Very good.
And the lady will take you like under the arm and show you to your place, and then basically the Lord will help her as well sit down, and then they like offer the food to you, and it's like just very pleasant. They don't really do proper protocol, right? They're very casual. There's like, you can see like it's a noble family, sure, but it's the countryside.
Yeah.
They're not that polished.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
And we're not high society educated anyway, so we're not going, well, I'm certainly not, so Vieira's manners are going to be of a level that matches theirs. She's going to do her best to mimic. And just polite conversation over dinner, presumably.
Yeah, I'm not
What is
gonna
it?
do a small talk simulator, but it's basically,
No, me neither.
where are you from?
What, the only thing I'm interested in is what dinner do we get that Samira doesn't, and that Layla doesn't.
It's roasted piggy.
Petty.
Roasted piggy. Oh, Samira
Not
would have
boar.
loved this.
Smoked
Yeah.
piglet, right?
Yeah, smoked piglet. Yeah.
With the apple in its mouth and all that, right? Stuff like, it's more like on the simpler side, like roasted vegetables, the bread is like, again, baked that day.
Yeah.
So it's just healthy,
Everything's kinda
plentiful
locally
country food.
produced
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, fresh. Presumably vegetables as well that they grow themselves.
Yeah, cheese.
Just a normal mix of vegetables. There's nothing special.
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious about that. May indicate certain flora or fauna in the region.
Salads, cheeses.
Generally, you discuss business after dinner.
Not
so
really that variety. Like you get a soft cheese, a hard cheese, and that's pretty much it.
Goat's cheese, probably.
Um,
There were goats running around earlier, weren't there?
no.
Oh, weren't there?
There's some sheep cheese.
Blech, that stuff's vile.
But yeah,
All good.
Mhm.
Do
Perfect.
dinner, do the pleasantries, wait for after dinner business conversation, I guess.
well, they will have you will have the pleasantries over the dinner, and then after dinner they will just basically for a nightcap, where like the servants will servants, you can see that's basically one of them is kind of like repurposed guard, and then two handmaidens, right, cleaning up, bringing some cakes, like angel food cake, like sponge cake basically, that you can see that was probably baked that like fresh. It's like still warm to the touch. And you basically get like a drink, like cherry, like, you know, and he will talk about how he has this from the capital city. It was brought in by one of the caravans because they don't produce it locally.
I was gonna say, otherwise they need orchards.
Nope, there's no orchards.
Yep.
You also had during dinner, he opened a bottle of wine, right? That was also, again, brought from
the capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. We gave them a reason to entertain, which they probably don't get much reason to.
Well, they do get the occasional caravan, so they do entertain, but like not all the time.
And in between shinny eating, so down to business instead of small talk.
Yes.
Apple's job.
Yeah.
What do you
basically
say?
During the after the eating, after the pleasantries, during the drinks, Cass will bring up the topic of the trade deal that he mentioned before. And so he goes, yeah, so we we're investors. We have a local or a smithy back in Tucson, and we were looking for shipments of the pine wood, especially the mountain pine, because apparently it produces very high quality materials, which is good for our purposes. And we would be interested in getting some kind of shipment from this area, probably once every season. Wood that doesn't harm, that is collected in a way that doesn't harm the forest. And would that be something that you could arrange?
He will say that, like, although that is like an interesting thought, you don't get a guaranteed regular shipment based on random wood that falls in the forest. However, like, while that might have been an interesting thought, he thinks that their allies would not be too keen on them trading with Hohir. This is something more for the towns along the coast.
Do they also have pine surrounding them?
Yes, he nods. Like, this pine is everywhere in Garland.
Okay.
So in the capital,
You did see it in Northgate as well, on the very coast.
Yeah, but it was sparse.
He will point out that, like, yes, there's pine trees on some of the coastal cities. Yes.
Alright, and then specifically Windrock, and they are allowed to trade with Hohir then.
Well, the cities along the coast are more free to trade with other coastal cities. Yes. But as he is not the leader of one of those cities, for details and connections, you would have to seek it out your own. He usually deals with the merchants that are coming in, like, through, and those are usually people who deal across the lands and not in the waters.
Okay.
And does he have any connections among the lords of those places, or not at all? Like, no correspondence, nothing?
Well, he does have friends and relatives.
I mean, among the people involved in that in Windrock, that would be...
Well, he will point out that, like, no offense, but he just literally met you, so he's not, like, gonna vouch for you on, hi, good evening, here, have some rum, I'm vouching for you now, go have my trade contacts, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, just like I just.
He can point out some names, but like you would.
Yeah,
He,
that's
like,
all I'm asking
yeah,
for.
yeah.
I'm not asking for his context specifically.
Yeah.
I'm asking just for the names of people that we could introduce ourselves to. That's it.
Yeah, he will give you names. That's not a problem. And this is all friendly, by the way.
Mhm.
It's just like there's like no like he's not like berating you for even offering or stuff like that. Like
No.
he
No,
does
I,
point out like as somebody like who knows a little bit and dabbles, that a production like that would require a caravan regularly and can predictably travel, which they don't have. The caravans that come from the other cities, they don't send caravans from this town to the other towns. So yeah. But he also knows that this is not the only place where you can find this kind of wood.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just explained that we're not that familiar with this land, so. And anyway, then basically exchange more pleasantries and thank them for the nice evening. And I just kind of, before that, I just give a shrug to Viera, and if she has something else that she wanted to ask them.
Gentle shake of her head. Thank them for the evening and for the entertainment, and wish them well with their harvest.
He will go further into the discussion on the harvest, because this is like a topic that he likes talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The only thing to ask at the end of that is obviously, are we okay to make our camp kind of just outside of town?
Oh no, he's like, you're invited for the night. They have guest rooms. They have them prepared and ready. He will also inquire about your your friend, because he remembers Layla, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a question.
Yeah, no, like Cassius will affirm, and that he will go ask her if she wants to join. And,
he will also politely ask if you have other friends that you came along, so they know and get ready with the rooms.
They're gonna know that there's 5 outsiders in town, basically, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, but he's
News
polite
travels
about
fast
it,
in
right?
this small place.
Mhm.
So yes, there are 5 of us in total, including Ibrath as a 6th. But
He will also point out that if you really want more of this pine wood, there's much thicker forest in Siragard, not even in Vindrock.
Okay.
By the way.
Okay. Yeah, this was just the first proper establishment we came across in this area, so we figured we'd ask. And like you say, obviously there are better places to do that sort of trade with.
Yeah, he will say like Siragard is like literally between 2 bigger forests, pine forests. So it's like centered right between them.
Okay. We will
Make
give
our inquiries
those
there.
a go.
But yeah, so you are invited to stay in the castle for a night.
Mm-hmm.
Very kind of them.
Yes.
They're not in a hurry to end the conversation, because again, they're curious, especially about Viera with her very fancy, expensive dress. They are assuming that she's like more than she looks on the surface, so they will ask her a whole bunch of questions about where she's from, and that kind of stuff.
Yep. Small island called Taria. Pleasantries.
He will be surprised, right? That he will like, oh, I heard of that like island. It's on the way to the like. He's a learned man, right? So he will ask a whole bunch of questions about Taria and Penvend and how many elves live there.
Not many.
If you travel often to your homelands.
Nope, never been.
He will politely avoid asking more.
Yeah, just general polite conversation. The only real information of substance is that she's from Taria and she now resides in Hahir, predominantly because it's a safe, law-abiding city with resources available for business. And that's kind of the extent of what they'll probably get. The rest is pleasantries and talking about the harvest, and she's going to be practicing redirection, so if there's any question she's not particularly a fan of, she will ask the lady who produces such wonderful hats and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, she will gush about her hat maker.
Exactly. Yep.
Very good.
Like she will chew your ear off on the hat maker. And even if you want, because you're super fancy, so she wants to show off a bit, right? Because you seem genuinely interested. She'll be like, oh, let me show you. And then she will take you to her, private quarters and then show off her entire hat collection. Which you can see that she probably never really gets to wear them here because it's a Hamlet, right?
Yeah.
But because you're wearing the fancy dress, she's making the assumptions, and based on that, she's like, happy to, share some of that she usually doesn't get to share with others in the village who don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Other than that,
you never talked about hats this much in your entire life.
Yes. Other than that, there's not an awful lot of other conversation going on. I'm going to leave it to you, Cassius, to acquire our companions. If they're interested, I'm going to retire here early for the night.
Cass will sit with the Lord for a little bit, talk about the stuff that he's mostly interested in, redirect also a little bit more about the harvest, about the work, because it has been enough villages to know what kind of things that they're doing. Ask about the village in general, like how they've always, like how long they've been here, basically a little bit about the history of the village, and then at some point he will ask if they can send someone to the tavern to fetch.
Yes, they can. And by the way, if you say how many people, for you and Viera, they will prepare guest rooms. For the others, they will prepare servants quarters, because they made assumptions.
I will not correct him on this.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So you get your separate room, Viera gets her separate room, and then the others are bunkered along with the servants.
Amazing. I'll tell to send someone to the tavern and check by the pier if the other two companions are still there. And I'll already alert them that the man on the pier will probably say no, and not to be alarmed by how brusque he will sound when he says it.
By the way, I also want to point out that when you entered originally, the servants were bowing to Ebrath as well. There was a pause where they were waiting for you to introduce the cat.
She would have introduced him as Ebrath, but he's not a deity. She would.
Okay, and then they would be okay, respectful, because it's clearly not a wild animal growling at everyone. But then they will not treat him like a deity anymore, right? So you can see that they kind of assume that he might be a shifter, and then okay, it's not. They're not particularly against, you do get any animosity towards shifters.
No, it's just that they have a different way of treating them.
It's just an amicable general, hey, they live in the forest, we're here in the town, we know. We leave each other be, mostly, that kind of stuff. And you also kind of hear that also, when he talks about the harvest, sometimes the men gather and they participate in a hunt with the wolves, which they graciously allow them to come along, because of course they're not as fast, but they have their ways of keeping up.
Make up for it in other ways, yeah.
But it's also great because they sometimes get really amazing game that they usually wouldn't catch without the help of the wolves. But mostly they're like, you get the impression that they're on their own and just leaving each other be. Like the humans take from the forest what they absolutely need and nothing more than that.
Yeah, so not as like integrated as the people that were living in the camp at the other town were.
So basically you saw as you're wandering, you saw basically 3 very different ways of living with the Detti, right? Mm-hmm. You have 4 actually, including the Detti, the nomadic Detti that you saw that are just Detti, right? But like Northgate is by far the most miserable town you've seen so far. Then you have the camp where like basically the humans are fully integrated and intertwined with the Detti. And now you have a more what you would consider a traditional village from where you came from, right? But you can see that they really care about the land as well. They are respectful of it. They you can see a fondness for the land and the harvest, which you haven't seen since Sunset Hill, actually, by the way. So it's like you had this like nice little nostalgic reminder of Sunset Hill and how the people were like talking and treating the land back then. As in like, because it's the place that provides them with their food, so they're very respectful of it. So you can see this is like one of the things where they agree with the Detti, so they're like, living harmoniously side by side.
All good.
Mm-hmm. There you go. I exhausted myself describing things. That's it. My brain is not dead.
That's fine.
Samira, Nimrod will not want to go into the castle.
Understandable, yeah. Alright.
But he kind of gives you also a hint that he doesn't mind if you stick around with him for the night. He found a good spot.
Oh. I guess the question is, have we caught something?
I mean, roll.
I think let me just get rid of my fate point so I have a fair fucking shot at this. Don't have to do with disadvantage.
Fair.
Nope.
Oh, this piglet tastes so good.
He's making up for it.
He's picking up for the slack.
So he gets like a fish for the weasel, right? Mm-hmm. And he gets a few for himself because he needs more food than you do.
Of course.
And actually, because it's you will notice a bit awkwardly, but he puts a bit more effort into actually gutting the fish, and then he will make fire and take you like a bit further out of town where you can like make a campfire, and kind of like half smoke, half like roast the fish above the fire. And he will also explain, like, he will also stuff some herbs into it that he picked up on the field. Mm-hmm. Get fresh roasted fish on a stick.
Okay. Yeah, Samira figured if they needed me in the castle, like, they would have themselves come to pick me up instead of just send servants. So she's, not bothered to go there right now.
Yeah. And then he will show you, like, a hay bale that he found. And he goes, like, these are really great for sleeping.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely, we didn't have... those were always the best option on ships if you weren't up for swinging, so I get that. Alright.
But it's gonna be basically, you'll get to get comfy, and then he will shift into giant wolf and be like at the bottom, so you get like fluff on one side and warm hay on the other side.
Just furnace.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Happy with that.
Awesome sauce. So that's you guys. Layla will be put into the servants' quarters.
At some point during the night, I will go find her and invite her to my room.
I was like, oh my lord.
It's like our secret little tryst. Remember the Duke?
I couldn't possibly. What if you're seen? You would be ruined.
Let's take that chance.
For your reputation, I must not.
Screw my reputation. I don't care what they think.
She lets you put some effort into this, by the way, just as a revenge for letting her be bunkered into the servants' quarters. But yeah, that she'll follow.
He'll give the greatest performance of his life.
Roll performance, please.
All right.
You don't have to. Just
I'm
said it's the greatest performance of your life.
Yeah.
I feel like now that you've pointed it out, it has to be done.
You insisted on it being a great performance.
I'm using my fate point for advantage.
You could do your passive, to be fair.
I am using my fate point for advantage. There you go.
Alright, it's an okay. Yeah, it's a good.
20!
Okay.
Come on!
It's not the performance of your life. You need to 20 out 20 for that.
Yeah. Considering I'm not even proficient in this shit.
Yeah.
Either way, you settle down around 10 p.m. for the night.
They do, I don't.
Okay, what is Viera doing?
Viera's carving a wooden panther.
When is she going to sleep?
What time would we have finished talking to the Lord?
10.
Around about 10. She will carve until 2 in the morning-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Will she? How long do I need to carve to make a carving check? I can't remember.
Depends. Just make a carving check. I think a small figurine can do in 4 hours.
I mean, depending on your check, how it could results, it tells you the process. That's how you get along.
Yeah, as per usual, tools in 5e are useless at describing how they do. No, that's Ibrath's character sheet. He is not proficient in wood carving.
No, he's not.
Surprised. Imagine my
not
shock.
unless you're just sharpening claws on a branch.
Yeah, I was about
in
to
which
say,
case, he's very proficient at that. Wood carving tools. Yeah, I mean, it says you can craft arrows as part of short rest, but it doesn't say anything about. It's a DC 10 for crafting a small wooden figurine.
There you go.
It's not your best work, but it is what you wanted.
We can use that as a trial run for a temporary item that loses its power after one use. And then go for something that potentially is a bit better quality for a more permanent. I'll add that to my sheet. But other than that, going to sleep around 2 a.m.-ish once she's finished the wood carving. Is there like a fireplace in the room, as it's a guest chamber?
It's hot. There's
No, I know, but is there a fireplace?
No.
There's never, okay. So this castle was built after they moved here.
No, actually, you're right. No, there would be a small fireplace. You're completely, derped. Yes, there would be a small fireplace. The castle was actually built before. It was actually finished, and this is something that they would have told you. It was finished. Let me open up to get this. I actually wrote it down.
All good.
Yeah, it was finished during the Age of Sword and Steel, right before the Long Night. Which they would explain the Long Night was what led eventually into the Red Light.
Okay. She'll leave the wooden shavings in the fireplace just for them to clear up.
So yeah, they would have had fireplaces.
Cool. Other than that, yeah, just go to sleep. Wake up at 6.
Yep. Okay. Well, everyone will wake up at 6 because that's the 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a long rest now.
Whoop whoop.
There we go. You'll get invited to breakfast at the castle. Not Samira, because she's not there.
We'll graciously accept breakfast and then point out that we need to be on our way, as we still have a very long way to travel towards Hollowstone.
But Samira will wake up to Nimrod bringing fresh baked bread.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you for breakfast.
It's still hot.
Ooh.
He's like chewing on one loaf and just handing you the other one.
Thank you. I take out from some of the rations some of the dried fruit and jerkies to offer to him.
Yeah.
Additionally,
he will share. And give some to Gwyn too.
Of course, some of the jerky.
And then Gwyn will settle in for sleepy because he was active all night. It's actually Nimrod who most shifted his routine to like a daytime thing because you know to accompany like accommodate.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
I
my
gotcha.
life, Friday brain. Accommodate you guys who need daytime.
All right. I'll during breakfast I'll just send a message. Sending off to, Viera this time, because I don't know when exactly Cassius will be up and at it.
Come on, early with breakfast, of course.
Yeah, you could be busy. I don't want to interrupt.
Oh, not this time.
You don't know that.
Good morning. Nimrod and I are just outside of town. You feel free to come over to start traveling. Rest of the words I'm gonna use to describe east, west, whatever direction we're in.
Which is it, east or west?
I don't know, she didn't say.
It's towards the fields, so away from the forest, whatever direction it is.
Yeah.
Towards the fields. Yeah, Viera will just think a reply of, we're just having breakfast, we'll be with you shortly.
Yeah, this will be coming soon. They're also having breakfast.
Yeah, so I would say it takes an hour. Then saying the goodbyes, and you know, the Lord will wish you a happy journey, and he will then also be like, you see, he's also getting ready to go back to work with everyone.
We'll bid them farewell.
Oh, Viera, you'll get a fancy hat.
Ooh.
I couldn't possibly accept.
No, she insists on it.
Fair enough. Add that to my character sheet. Does it match any of my dresses?
Matches the dress that you were wearing last night. So feel free to Google something that matches that.
Yep, will do. Later date.
It's one of those that you wear like partially sideways, right?
Ooh,
Mhm.
nice.
Cool. Get ready and leave, I guess.
It's not that they're garish; they just don't match the surroundings she's in, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Then you start traveling.
Morning. Hope everything went well on you guys' end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had a lovely evening.
Yeah.
Some great dinner. Some great breakfast. No wood. Well,
Okay. So, what's
It wouldn't sit well with their allies,
okay.
and by that they mean the tribes around. So he recommended talking to people in Windrock in the capital. He also recommended somewhere called Sierra Guard.
I think that's just below on the map or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but I think it's around there.
Nimrod
Sierra
will
Guard.
correct you and say Siragard.
Sure, Sierra Guard. It sits between two forests, apparently.
Not. It does.
and they should have some more possibilities for us.
Yeah,
But otherwise, it was
basically they won't trade with Tucson anyway because the packs won't want them to,
He nods.
and only the coastal cities are more likely to secure that sort of trade.
Alright. That's something for later on then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you? You had a good evening?
Yeah.
How was
I mean-
dinner?
Been a while since I've actually had sweetwater fish, so it's been good, yeah.
Right.
So you did catch something in the end?
Yes, at least I didn't. It was all graciously provided by Nimrod over here.
Did it involve him having to dive in after the fish, though?
Nimrod
and
is already
abandon the
walking
fishing?
away and pulling off his shirt and reaching behind his back for the tattoo and shifting.
he's-
Like, yeah.
Like, I just also look at this, like, if he's like a little bit, I was like, it's like, was the entire evening like this, or?
Depends on what you mean like this.
He's walking off and shit? Like,
He
Yeah.
didn't walk off from me, no.
okay.
Vieira, you can see his ears tilting back. Like, you can absolutely fucking hear everything.
I know.
Obviously.
I know. Like, I'm not, like, hushing too much. That's so good.
Alright, yeah.
Okay, so you're on the way. I am calling the session here.
Okay.
Rip. So
Wow.
much
Alright.
we're getting
So much
to
for getting-
Holostone.
Well, I mean, are you actually interested in, like, I mean, I can show you the landscape, but, like, there's nothing eventful happening, really.
Well, in between.
Well, then
there's
why
the-
don't we
the-
just get there and
Well,
then
there's-
Okay.
pick up
there's
next session when we're there?
there's
Well,
days of traveling, and I'd like to have RP in between
Well-
with you guys.
oh, okay. I mean, that's.
You guys, don't count on that.
You guys? What do you mean? Don't count on that.
You mean text RP?
No. Like,
Oh, okay.
if we continue normally next week, we can have like, oh, that evening, we, that
Next
promise talk to
week?
Vieira.
I
on
thought
the
we were
next
having
week,
another session tomorrow and another one on Sunday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not quite.
No.
Not quite.
Yeah, right.
For me, it's like I'm fine with just continuing next time on the road if stuff
Yeah,
needs to
I mean,
be
if
like
we-
it can be like abridged if there needs to be some.
Yeah,
like,
because, like, if you want to do RP, then you will have next time the opportunity to do that when we're not also fucking brain dead.
Definitely, yeah.
But if we also don't do any RP, then we're basically gonna arrive in Holostone at the beginning of the session anyway.
Yeah, because I didn't want to do this today because, like you said, I'm brain dead. But I do still want to have the RPs, like with,
Yeah.
especially with Vieira. Like, we talked about talking. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
actually needs to happen.
We did, and then you abandoned us to spend a night with Wolfboy. It's alright.
Rip.
Wow.
The favorites are already clear. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Vieira, it's all by her.
And I thought it was Cassius that was gonna abandon the group for someone, but
Well, you're gonna put me into the staffing squad anyway, so I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
as you deserve. It's like otherwise you could have gone with us.
Oof. Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, to be fair.
All right, end of session.
Double crossing Cassius, you off, man.
Ending the session now.
Youch.
Bye.